Yo, back-to-back podcasts. Did one yesterday, doing one today. First time I've ever done one back-to-back. I'm trying to get more of these out to you guys. This is a Keepin G-Real podcast. It's your boy, Evan. I'm here with the first time Borden on my podcast, but it ain't the Diesel. What up, Steve?
What's up?
Dude, I've asked Nate to come on a bajillion times.
Yeah.
He's just too cool for school.
He's nervous. He's a scared little puppy.
But he'll be like, you've never invited me on. You've never invited me on. I've tried to get him on a multitude of times.
He's funny.
Yeah, I told him I'm gonna have to get him on and have him spit some battle rap. We're gonna launch his rap career off here, dude.
Hey, I know a girl that went to college to open up a studio. So
word?
Yeah.
You gonna get in the booth?
I'll get him in the booth.
No, you gonna get in the booth. You would hit together, dude.
I can't get none of that. Yeah.
Dude, like conspiracy theory your ass.
Yeah, imagine.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, we're going to be talking about, this is going to be more sports oriented. We're going to talk in depth about the current state of sports and a lot of the things that people say on the internet about games being rigged. And it just so happens that my boy Steve is like an absolute expert. He really is an absolute expert on the idea and the conspiracies behind all sports are rigged. And we're gonna go over like the top handful, like biggest sports conspiracy theories of all time, break them down, and then I'm sure he's got like a Rolodex of stuff where he can prove that he thinks it's all rigged. And we'll have a back and forth and break down like each sport and talk about how we think they could possibly be rigged. And listen, there's definitely some truth in some ways. I like to hold on to the belief that it's not fully rigged. We're gonna come to. There's definitely things that I'm not biased about this. There's definitely fucking shady shit that's happened in every single sport. But we're just gonna go through it and stuff like that. But I like to think that it's still competitive. What do you think? What do you think if you did a percentage of half of a certain percentage out of 100 it being rigged, the other percentage not being rigged? What do you think it is?
I'd give it probably a 60-40, 60 being rigged.
60 being rigged? Yeah. That's bigger than I thought you were going to say.
Well, I would have given it 50-50, but,
the Saints won, but there's a conspiracy theory for everything, right, though. There's a conspiracy theory behind the Saints winning the Super Bowl.
Hey, yeah, that was with Katrina.
Yeah, they wanted them to win. Because of everything they have to bring it back home.
Hey, they had that terrible, terrible mishap. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm saying it was bad.
I'm not joking, dude. I've watched football games before, and Steve's messaged me and been like, Tony Romo's going to throw a pick on this drive. Now, I'm being transparent. Most of the time, it didn't happen. But he has messaged me and been like, yo, this is going to happen. And that it does happen. I'm not going to lie. He's had a couple times where he's guessed some weird shit. And I've also been seeing, I actually shared a video today. So everyone thinks that fist pumping that certain players do means reset the game clock. You've seen that people are sharing time reset, supposedly. I saw a punter from the Steelers do it.
Yeah, it's not illegal, I don't think.
So do you think that is what it is, though? Do you think that's a signal to reset the game clock?
Yeah, because every time he does it, the clock
it's
resets,
true.
So.
It does reset. Everyone's been sharing those.
But, if another team did it, would it reset? Because the Steelers did it and it reset, right? So,
right.
I mean, it's legal.
Yeah,
probably.
The one thing that people need to have is an open mind when it comes to this, because I tell people all the time. For example, I don't know how much you've been watching fighting. I know you know a little bit about the combat sports, but there's a big thing going on with this fight this weekend, and I did a breakdown of it yesterday. Jorge Masvidal's fighting Nate Diaz, and it's for the BMF belt, the baddest motherfucker in the world belt, right? And people are bitching because they're like, how can two guys that have double-digit losses be considered two of the baddest motherfuckers in the world? And I was telling them it's an amalgamation of things. It's like it's their likeness, it's how popular they are. They've been bad a lot of these fighters didn't start fighting until they were adults, right? And came from other sports. Like Masvidal and Diaz have been fighting since they were kids in the street, come up. They have double-digit wins or losses because they both got 50 fights apiece. Find a fighter that has 50 her 50 pro fights that isn't at least close to having double-digit losses. You're going to lose fights in combat sports.
You can't win them all.
And that's one of the biggest things that annoys me. These I have to say it, these casual fans that have like never trained, never been in a fist fight, never been in any form of situation where they got to defend themselves or anything. Never been punched in the face. They don't understand how hard it is to fight. And they don't understand how, like, when you get to the top of that shit, if some dude brings himself, his mind's right, best of his ability, he could beat almost any dude. He put the tip tops. There's only like one guy right now that I think might not lose in the UFC, and it's Khabib Nurmagomedov. If you've ever seen him, the Russian cat, he's smashing everyone at 155, right?
Well, Russians are monsters, man.
But look at even George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre has 3 losses, but he's only got 20-something fights. Now, if you double his fights, he has 50-something, and then he could possibly have 7 losses.
Yeah, he'd have more losses.
He'd have more losses.
Yeah.
You know, especially as the game evolves. So Jorge Masvidal's like 33-13.
Right. Well,
And then Diaz is like 28-11 or something. And their persona's badass. Their popularity, everyone loves them because they're badass. It's not just, by the way, they're also straight up badasses in the cage. These guys, their record's also the way it is because unlike all these other dudes that claim they're badasses in the sport, they fucking fight everyone. They're looking for the best guys. They want the baddest motherfuckers. They never say no.
I think Diaz is a wicked badass, dude.
They both are.
But then he just,
Diaz
just popped on a test, didn't he?
No, okay, so
like set up.
rigged.
Yeah, rigged.
No, so Nate and I argue about this. I think USADA's a corrupt organization. I've been saying that for a while. So Nate goes, no, it's thorough testing. And Nate should be a lawyer.
No, it's not, though.
Well, he argues all this stuff that picograms, all stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's so easy to get past that test. What you do is if you want to take steroids and you got the money, like a lot of these high-level fighters, if all you have to do is go get a supplement tested, right, by your management, find a supplement that has trace amounts of whatever steroids you want to take that supplement so that when you do pop, you can point to that supplement and be like, oh, it's a tainted supplement.
Right. Like a pro hormone.
And they let Brock Lesnar fight steroid to the gills. He didn't have to take a drug test. They still let him fight Mark Hunt. So there's a lot of bullshit with USADA. I think it's a corrupt organization. This is the conspiracy theory. We're already going into the rig shit, the conspiracy theories. But we got others, but before we'll get to this one, we'll do this one first. I think that what people are trying to say is Conor McGregor's coming back soon, right? Now he's supposedly fighting Donald Cerrone in January. That fight's supposedly like getting
lost
worked
his
out.
confidence, dude.
Rumor was that since he's ready to fight, supposedly the rumor was they were going to try to falsely pop Diaz to scratch him from the fight and insert Conor McGregor for the BMF belt against Jorge Masvidal. That was the rumor, but this is what Nate did. That's how much of a G Nate is. So apparently, and I didn't know this, if I read it right, I might not have. USADA's new rule is if you pop, you're allowed to fight, and they won't disclose it after the fact. They'll disclose it to your opponent, and they're not allowed to say. Your opponent can accept the fight,
right.
And if you do, they won't tell the public after the fact that you popped. They'll disclose it later. But this is how much of a G Diaz is. Diaz goes public against the wishes of USADA in the UFC and goes, listen, he's like, I pop motherfuckers. He's like, I don't do steroids. He's like talking about how he only eats vegetables. He eats whole foods. He doesn't take supplements.
He's always bashing people that take steroids and stuff.
You can look at someone by certain parts of their body, the way they're shaped. You could tell if they're at least on anabolics and stuff. Now, there's stuff you have to test for, like EPO. You could be on EPO that doesn't change your physique a lot of times. But if there's any guy on the planet that's not on steroids, it's the Diaz brothers.
Well, they're tiny.
But look at the way they're
skinny
built.
Little dudes. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
They're endurance athletes.
But don't let them... Dude, muscle's not everything.
True. Contrary to popular belief.
Fighting's a science, dude. They know it.
It helps, but it's not everything. So what he did was he went public right on fucking social media and goes, fuck that. I'm not fighting. They told me not to say nothing until after the fight. He goes, I didn't do shit. And he decides that he's pulling himself off the fight and letting them know, hey, they flagged me. So he does that. How come 3 days later, all of a sudden he's reinserted back in and they take it away?
Right. There's something weird going on
there. So yeah, but yeah, man.
But with urine tests, even if someone doesn't put the cap in on all the way and it gets tipped in shipping and it spills everywhere, that could mess up everybody's test. So
Kidding me? What is the old testing companies thought John Jones was such a cheater? Because, sorry, Nate, but he is a cheater. Which is fine. Personally, I don't care. Hold on, I take that back. In most sports, I don't care if people take performance-enhancing drugs. I just get mad how they try to act like they're trying to stop it, but still let them use it. Like, if you're an NFL player, they want you on steroids. It makes the product better. And they literally tell you what day you're going to be tested down to the fucking hour. So if you fail a drug test in the NFL, you're a fucking retard.
I've always said, let everyone in sports take steroids.
Except for in MMA, though.
Let everyone
Combat
in sports take steroids.
You can kill each other.
You know why?
You can get killed in football,
Because
but it's not the objective to kill each other.
if everybody takes them, then it's a matter of who puts in more work in the gym. Still at the same time.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing.
It still should be.
It's like that no matter
But,
what.
right.
That's a misnomer that people
But-
think that if you take steroids,
you got to get in the gym.
You have to hit
you
the
have
gym
to eat
because it's
right.
a
You
waste
gotta
of
get in the
money.
gym.
And you can get yourself sick.
Yeah, it ain't
if you're
nothing.
not using it.
You get fat.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing. Yeah.
So yeah, but we're just gonna run through. We're gonna start with. I have a list here. It's the top 10 conspiracy theories in sports history. It's going to jump around from different sports, but we're going to go through because I know Steve knows all about this shit. So he's going to be able to give me way more insight. I know vaguely all of these, but we'll probably go off and just branch through. The first one is Michael Jordan's first retirement was a secret suspension for gambling. Now, you want to hear something really hilarious? Have you ever watched the show Desus and Mero?
No.
It's this hilarious show. This Dominican dude and this Jamaican cat have a show. It's a show where they just make fun of pop culture and sports. And the guy on there, Mero, said one of the most savage things I've ever said in my entire life. I think he's a Knicks fan. And he was like, what did he say? He goes, fuck Michael Jordan. He's like, they kicked his bum ass out of the league. He's like, for gambling. He goes, he gambled so much, got his dad killed. Fuck you, bitch ass. Dude, I was like, whoa. I'm like, that's savage to say that, though.
But
like
it actually happened.
So you think his dad got killed over gambling debts?
Yep, absolutely.
So let's see how long this is, and I'll read through. Okay, so it's not that long. It says, why fans believe it is true. Just months before Michael Jordan announced his first retirement in 1993 and eventually pursued a career in baseball, the NBA had launched an investigation into Jordan's gambling habits. Also, Jordan said during his retirement press conference that he might come back to the NBA if David Stern lets me back in the league. And then, okay, so I'm gonna read the why it's debunked, and then I want your opinion on it. The question conspiracy theorists struggle to answer is, why would the NBA cover up Jordan's gambling misdeeds and kick the best, most popular asset out of the league for 2 years? The most likely scenario is that Jordan, one of the sport's fiercest competitors, just no longer felt challenged by basketball and needed something else.
See,
what do you think?
No, I don't agree with that. See, because they kick him out. He's the best. Listen, he's the best player in basketball. They got to set an example. So if he's doing wrong, other people are going to follow. If he's number one, everybody looks to number one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but wasn't he really social? He wasn't that social with players, though. He didn't have friends or nothing.
Right, but when you kick him out, dude, other players everybody's get the word. Everybody, they get it. Don't gamble, especially on games and stuff. He could have gambled on games. We don't know. They wouldn't have probably told that, but most likely. I mean, he's the best in the world, dude. He could gamble on his own game if he wanted. He knows he's going to win every time.
You know what he could gamble on?
Losing.
Jordan rules. How many you put down bets? How many times I'm going to go to the free throw line tonight?
Right, exactly. Hey, anything can happen. And I think that's when I think he retired because of it. They suspended him. Let him back. Change his number.
What's the deal with his dad? Like, people think he's better. If that's, let's say that scenario, all that is true. There's also an attaching theory that his father was murdered because of him owing money to people.
Yeah, most likely.
Have you read anything about that or heard anything about that? There's a couple theories
it, but you know what? I believe it. I believe it could happen, dude. Number one people who runs, Las Vegas, dude, is Mafia. Yeah, and they're known. You ever seen the movie Casino? Dude?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Awesome movie.
It's a great movie.
Based on true events. Shit happens in real life, bro.
Dude.
That's what I'm saying.
The next one is, and these are my favorite ones. You want to know why? For some reason, the NBA conspiracies are the best. So I don't know about you, and I know you've kind of taken like hiatuses here and there from watching sports. It sounds to me like you're a little bit back watching sports a little bit. I don't know if you've just been bored or something like that.
I like to try to see Tom Brady get walloped. Yeah, everybody does.
I don't.
But
I'm in the minority. I fucking love Tom Brady.
Well, yeah.
Nate and I are the only ones that love Tom Brady.
Well, there's
He's
reasons
a G.
behind it.
Come
man.
on.
He's good, but like I said, Breeze is leading in a lot of stats.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Andy J and I,
and almost all of them.
In my opinion, if Drew Brees can win another Super Bowl, his team's going to be
about titles, man.
If you're talking about greatness, it's part of the equation. Here's the thing:
I can't do it like that.
I know, but listen, hear me out. We were talking about the other day, and I asked Andy J, I'm like, "What are your top, quarterbacks?" And he was like, top 5 or something like that. And he had Drew Brees in there, and I said, I don't think anyone's going to put him above Peyton or Tom as far as greatness, right? So let's just say Peyton and Tom are the 2 greatest. Honestly, I think right now you have to say Drew Brees is like, from a statistical standpoint and from an efficiency standpoint, he's the best quarterback to ever play football.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If you look at his percent, if you go deep with it and you look at his percentages, his completion percentage as a whole, areas of the field that are hard to complete passes, his completion percentage is through the roof, and like he hasn't had the most talented teams, and he's kept the whole franchise afloat. What a Super Bowl! I think definitely if he could win, he's probably got this year, and then he might play next year. But his team is talented enough right now to where he's going to have opportunity at least to have a shot at making a run for a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
If he can win one more in these next 2 years, this year or next year, he's got to be the 3rd greatest quarterback of all time. He has to be.
I put him up in top 3.
He's got to be.
I'll put him before Brady.
You put him before Brady?
I put him before Brady.
Why
just stats-wise.
So just stats.
Stats, dude.
Stats don't lie. I agree with you.
Stats don't lie.
Now,
titles can lie because people, like I said,
not all titles
can
are
be
created
rigged.
equally.
Right, exactly.
But
things can be rigged.
We're also, the narrative of this podcast is things being rigged, so we got to suspend that a little bit when we're talking about how we measure these.
Because if we're going to look at it like that, then Jordan's not the best basketball player to ever live.
True, but Jordan...
Because Bill Russell has 10 rings.
Right, but Jordan also is the... You can make an argument that Jordan's the best player ever, and he's
Chamberlain
got 6.
scored way more points than he ever had.
Yeah, against little white guys, didn't do steroids.
It doesn't matter. It's still
I feel like you got to parse it out. As we sift through it, you have to parse it out.
See, sports are just different from way back then anyway, man.
True.
Nowadays, Jordan would drop hundreds on these people because they don't play defense. Exactly.
I also think LeBron James would be just as good in the 90s.
I don't think so. I don't think he can handle the heat.
Dude,
come on.
Listen, dude.
Look at the teams back then, dude.
6'8", 260.
That doesn't matter.
Runs a 4.5 and runs through.
And he cries about everything.
It doesn't matter.
Dude, he'd get walloped back in the day
because
the fouls that didn't get called back then that get called now.
Listen, okay, dude, let's say we're not overrating how tough he is.
Okay.
If Jordan got smacked around like that,
he did.
Okay, but I'm saying Jordan got smacked around like that, but LeBron's a fucking freak. Do you think physically he's gonna get smacked around like Jordan gets smacked around? Just from a physical standpoint. I'm not talking about whether you think LeBron's tough.
It depends, because back then
LeBron's a center coming down the lane with every type of
Let's compare fouls from then and now.
True,
fouls back then, man, they were clotheslining and wailing down to the ground.
Right, but we won't ever know. I love those bad boy Pistons, dude.
But yeah, the Pistons, that's what I'm saying, dude. How would you have held up against the Pistons when he was getting tackled and punched by people and friggin'...
I don't know.
I can't do that stuff these days.
Here's the thing. I will be totally honest. I'm starting to hop off a little bit off the LeBron train, but I will argue to the death about the people that think he's an overrated player.
I think he's a great player.
He's the best. Well, here's another thing I said, though, because guess who's starting to creep up, in my opinion? Speaking of, Drew Brees, now we got another guy who's starting to creep up.
Mahomes.
I'm not talking about... we're talking about basketball. I also said... Think about Kawhi Leonard. Hold on.
I like Kawhi Leonard.
Listen, Kawhi Leonard gives you everything Scottie Pippen gave you, plus 10 more points a game now, right?
He's a monster.
He's a monster. He's got 2 rings. If we're talking about greatness, it's about everything you've done and how good you are. So by that measure, that's why. So what Nate and I do is we go, who do you think is the best? Like, for example, I think Kevin Garnett, in my opinion, is the best power forward that ever played. But he's not the greatest. He won 1 championship when he was old and had a bunch of good dudes around him. Whereas you can make the argument that Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward of all time, because not only is he one of the best, he checks off all the other boxes. So when Nate and I have those conversations, we differentiate what we're trying to say to each other. Like, it's like, what is it? Gary Payton always used to say, people don't like how Gary Payton knows you say John Stockton was the hardest dude he ever had to defend because he did absolutely everything, whereas you knew Jordan was just going to try to score on you, right?
Oh, for sure.
But Jordan's got everything else. Like, so you got, you know what I'm saying? Jordan's the pinnacle of greatness.
Well, that's what I mean, dude. You tell him he can't play defense, he comes back and he wins Defensive Player of the Year.
Right, but so Kawhi Leonard, 2 rings already, gives you 30 and everything else, right?
Guy's a monster.
He's a fucking monster. He's what, only 27, 28?
Yeah, he's young.
Did you know there's no player has ever won a championship in the NBA with 3 different teams? They're looking awesome right now. They're looking like they're going to be hard to beat.
Where'd he go?
Clippers. Dude, everyone plays defense on that team. They're 4-0 right now. Dude, listen, everyone plays defense on that team. That starting lineup, Patrick Beverly picking your point guard up the whole game, the whole floor. Paul George up top. Not Paul George. Who's that kid? That kid that shoots threes. Landry Shamet, which a lot of people don't know Landry Shamet, but he could play. Lou Williams comes off the bench and gives you 20 points a night consistently every year. Then you got Paul George, Kawhi, and that Zubac and coming off the bench. And then who's their center? He's undersized, but he D's everybody up. Montrezl Harrell. Dude, they're destroying everyone right now. It's bad. So let's say he wins a championship or 2 with the Clippers. I think we can make the argument that he's the greatest small forward of all time.
You could.
I think we could. Like, we got to wait and see what he does, because right now, LeBron's still the greatest small forward of all time. Kawhi's coming for that ass, though. I think people are underestimating Kawhi. Legacy-wise, Kawhi's coming for that ass. Kawhi just shuts up, plays basketball.
He's a beast.
Speaking of basketball, number 2, the NBA rigged the 1985 NBA draft for the New York Knicks to get Patrick Ewing. It says, the fans believe it is true. Why the fans believe it's true? Patrick Ewing was one of the best prospects in years, and the league's marquee franchise needed a star. Also, the person placing the envelopes in the bin seems to throw one against the side. Okay, I do remember that.
Bent the corner of it.
That's what it was. Bent the corner. Yep. What was the one where everyone's trying to say the is it LeBron? People tried to say there was another one that was rigged where they froze the card.
Well, I remember they said that about this one too. That
really?
It could have been put in the freezer
or something. So he would know.
It's definitely bent. If you watch the video,
yeah,
man,
it's bent.
Definitely bent.
It's definitely bent.
The corner's bent. He reaches right to it. Yeah. He doesn't even fumble around or play. He reaches.
I've seen the video, man. Dude.
That's definitely a rig, dude. The Knicks. Yeah, dude. That's
It says in the one, David Stern pulls out of the Knicks logo. Inside appears to have a bent corner. A second theory says the Knicks envelope was frozen. There it is, which would make it easier to Stern to identify. What do you think?
I think it was rigged. I think he folded it, threw it in there. They knew, dude. The Knicks. Well, Knicks were. What were they? They were a pretty good team when they picked up Ewing.
They had a bunch of pieces.
Did they win the championship though?
No,
I don't think
they had a good squad before, but he was the piece that put them into the title contention.
It's all about money. It's all about where the money has to come from. If no one's making money.
I've always said this. You got to remember, we love our sports, but it's entertainment, they're businesses.
It's all about money.
Which is why I've never understood why. You ever hear someone come out of their job and hear you talk about sports and they go, we have this all the time at work. The old-ass truck driver that didn't make proper decisions in his life to go do the shit he wanted to do with himself and decided to play it safe and truck drive goes, oh, why are you guys talking about these overpaid fucking scumbag childish athletes? And it's like, I've never seen that like that. The athletes are a product in a business that is owned by dudes making way more money than they are.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be making millions anyway.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's people that make billions off inanimate objects that no one uses.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I've never gotten mad at them making money. Like, do I think that doctors should be paid more? Yes. Do I think the military should be paid more?
Yes, that's the point.
But it's still a business. I think people get pissed off at it because a human is the product.
Sports entertainment.
And people wish. You wouldn't be saying that. We wouldn't be saying that shit if we made that money.
It's like wrestling. It's like they get paid like what, a couple $100,000 maybe.
If you're good, you make $100,000 a year. But if you're really good, you can make bank.
Right, and that's overpaid for a professional wrestler who we know.
If you smell
right, woo! Dude, one of the teachers today at Skylar School dressed up like Randy Savage. Awesome, dude. Awesome. But yeah, man, that's what it's all about.
But yeah, it says so for why it's probably debunked. If the NBA wanted to bend a corner of the envelope as a signal to Stern, it would be easier to do it before bringing them out. Oh, so they threw it up against it to try to bend it. You're taking a serious chance there.
The thing is,
what if you throw it, it doesn't bend?
The thing about it is, I think, because they wanted to make it look like, when you're doing something wrong that you know is wrong, and you're putting on a front for thousands of people watching you on TV, millions probably, you want to make it look as real as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, that one's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I obviously, this one's one of the most blatant ones, because you see it.
Yeah, you can see it totally, absolutely.
I do think there's some merit to the first one, the Jordan one, but we don't know all the particulars. We're not walking around with Michael Jordan, but this one's so blatant, dude.
Yeah, this one's
so
definitely
bad.
blatant.
I don't know anything about baseball.
Me neither.
Cal Ripken Jr.'s record streak of games played was saved by an intentional power outage. But, as you were saying before we started the podcast, I think, the Ravens game.
Yeah, the Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Yeah,
was it
Alex
Ravens
Jones
49ers?
talked about that. He's like, but see, Alex Jones was a different conspiracy. Alex Jones was like,
Illuminati.
Yeah. They're coming after us. They shut the game down. It's a false flag and all this stuff. He's like, hide your kids, hide your wife.
I remember that. But no, I mean, 49ers were up. What was the score, man? 49ers were up.
Oh, it was against the Niners.
Yeah, they were up pretty good. Yeah, it was Colin Kaepernick. Wait, was he the quarterback for the Super Bowl?
Yes, but I forgot they played the Ravens.
Yeah, well, Ravens won.
Was it the Super Bowl or was it an AFC
Super Bowl
championship?
Yeah, Super Bowl, dude. And I was eating ribs at my boy's house.
Oh yeah, well they're playing the Niners. So
yeah, they're playing the Niners, and lights went up, dude. Power outage at halftime, or right before halftime, or whatever, dude. And then they went into after halftime. They came out and won, or it was right after halftime.
But what would you do? That's a big. So to play devil's advocate, it's like, what is shutting the power out going to do? Give you another 15 minutes to game plan? That's a big jump to just hope that you can game plan to come back and beat the
sure.
team.
Yeah, but I mean,
if it was us in high school, Rocks would have been in the dark going, freaking out.
What's the chances, dude?
We still would have won.
You know how hard it is to make a comeback in sports,
that's what
dude.
I'm saying,
what are the chances that? Well, come on, 28-3.
We'll get to
that's
that.
The biggest rigged Super Bowl. Falcons need the stadium, baby. They got it.
You were gonna say?
I can't remember now.
You're saying it's hard to come back from?
Yeah, it's hard to come back in professional sports, dude. So. I mean, so when they came, they shut down the 49ers in the second half or something. Same with the Patriots, shut down the Falcons in the second half. After the number one defense in the league got shut down, freaking didn't stop Tom Brady at all. Not one time.
I just don't understand why they would make a big deal out of something that's, in my opinion, in the grand scheme of things, kind of insignificant and little. It's cool that you've had, Eli Manning, he had 200 consecutive games or some bullshit like that. But it's really? For consecutive? So for me, the significance is
money's where their heart is.
So I'll see. It says, in 1997, 2 years after breaking Lou Gehrig's record for consecutive games played, a game between the Orioles and the Mariners was postponed because of electrical failure that affected the lights in Camden Yards. This led to a wild rumor that the team intentionally caused the failure to save Cal Ripken's streak, when they learned Ripken would be unable to play after he got into a fight with Kevin Costner. What the fuck?
Dude, that has way air behind it. That one sounds
if you lose
legit.
A fight to Kevin Costner, you shouldn't be allowed to play sports.
Well, it doesn't say he lost.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, I'm hoping.
Dude,
I'm hoping he didn't lose.
I hope he threw a 97-mile-per-hour fist at his face,
Kevin, I can't stand Kevin Costner. He's one of the worst actors of all time. You ever see when he played, I know you watched all these movies because it's fucking, we had similar childhoods growing up.
Yeah.
Fucking, remember the Robin Hood movie where he played Robin Hood? He couldn't do an English accent?
Dude, the worst movie I've ever seen.
Oh, it was so bad.
That's not even the worst one. I think Russell Crowe's was more worse.
I didn't even see it.
Oh,
Russell Crowe's the man.
I like Russell Crowe, but,
It says why it's probably false. News reporters at the time show that Ripken was at the stadium sitting in a dugout prior to the power outage.
Well, sure, he could sit in the dugout after he got in a fight. He can still sit in the dugout even if he's not playing.
Side note, I can't stand baseball. Hate it. Don't like it.
Boring.
And dude, I had another old fuck tell me the other day, oh, you'll like it as you get older. I'm like, stop telling me that I'm too dumb to understand it. Stop telling me it's because I'm not mature enough to understand it. I know dudes that are fucking 19 that love that shit.
What's there to understand?
Nothing. It's boring. It's boring tactics for a boring sport.
It's too long, for one. Nine
games go to one of the Borden.
That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes.
Not even 9. It's 18 innings,
they're like,
to be honest.
You don't understand how if you throw a specific pitch in the bottom of the second, it's going to set a dude up to hit a guy with a Kamehameha wave in the top of the ninth for the win. I'm just like, dude.
Well, I'm sure there's ways to set up. I'm sure there's ways to set up people, but
way too many stats in it. Too.
But,
like,
I mean, baseball could be another one of those rigged sports too, but that's probably one of the harder ones to rig.
What you know about that pine tar, bro?
Pine tar,
what you know about them cork bats,
Yankees are known for it, the pine tar. So is Boston, though. Don't let it get twisted.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch baseball.
Boston, they think they're tricky. They had it on their... See, the Yankees were like hiding it on its neck and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I see. I know they're talking about.
Dude,
a big old glob.
One of the Boston pitchers hit it on his glove, so it was a little harder to see, you know what I'm saying?
What you gotta do is you gotta put it right on the sack.
Yeah.
Like reach down to there.
There's ways, dude. I mean... It comes down to this.
Your beard.
It comes down to this.
Put it in your beard. Say that it's your beard oils make your beard so shiny.
All it takes is the umps to call one strike. That's actually a ball.
That's a ball.
Yep.
And take
that's
the heat
all it
for
takes.
It.
Exactly.
Right. This is right. I've been wanting to do this podcast with you because I know that you know all this shit.
Right. That's all it takes.
But one thing I was gonna say about the baseball is, as a side note, can't stand baseball. But, dude, I respect the fact that for dudes that on average probably can't fight that well, they fucking fight all the time. Like, the bench is clear. Like, a couple months ago, I watched Yasiel Puig. I don't know who he plays for now. Get up, sprint at the other team's dugout. The whole team stood up and came at him. This motherfucker was like, for my country, and dove into all the opposing team and just started swinging. They were beating him down. He didn't give a fuck, dude. And they fight each other. Some of the best fights of all time are baseball fights.
I love it when they rush the mound, dude.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You
want to go? They talk shit first?
The pitcher always steps out of the way and throws him to the ground.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, they know it's going to happen.
The shit they say, they're like, you want it? You want to go?
Right.
Like, yeah. They start coming at each other.
Right.
Dude, it's great.
It's awesome.
But
Hockey's where the fights are at, man.
Yeah,
I watched someone get brutaled up a couple weeks ago.
I mean, I like MMA, so it's like the pinnacle, but I'm not a fan of hockey. Hockey's one of those ones I can never get into. I've tried watching it. I recently went back and tried to watch it to see if I could. I just can't.
It's kind of tricky, man. It's like a tricky sport, dude.
It's
like
weird.
The rules are tricky, dude. You got to know what's going on at all times because there's too many switches, dude. Like too many. I could never play it because for one,
mean switches as far as substitutions.
That dude, like in and out. No, what happens? The substitutions are the switches, dude. At any second,
a dude can just
someone can pop in and go back in.
That's pretty cool.
That is
I like
cool.
That's pretty cool.
But then there's like, I mean, it's not that hard to follow. But I mean, the rules, you got to know the rules in order to understand it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know the rules, you can't understand it.
What is icing? Is that like the equivalent of offsides in soccer?
Icing is when they just slap the puck and it goes all. I think the team. I don't know. One of the hockey teams slaps the puck and it goes all the way across the friggin'.
And no one can get to it.
And no one can get to it, yeah.
I was wondering if it was like, I always thought it was the equivalent. I know no one watches soccer except for Anton and I, but I always thought icing was the equivalent of offsides in soccer. So if you've watched soccer, if you and I are on the same soccer team and you're running down the pitch.
And that cross before you.
If I don't pass you the ball, if the ball does not leave my foot to pass to you before you make it past the last defender,
yeah,
it's offsides.
And they'll stop the same in hockey,
right? So the ball's got to be off my foot. That's why, in my opinion, I love passing in soccer. You got to be skilled. You got to be able to see all the way down the field, tell where a dude's at, lob it through dudes,
for sure.
through balls past dudes, and you got to know that dude's not ahead of that last defender. It takes serious depth perception.
Absolutely.
And some of the greatest soccer players can send it through 8 dudes. It's spinning on the grass and just barely slides it in there, dude. I fucking love soccer. But anyways.
Yeah, it's the same with hockey, though. Offsides and stuff. There's offsides.
Number 4. The NBA rigged Game 6 of the 2002 Western Conference Finals to save Los Angeles' season. Says why? The Lakers trailed this. Oh, okay. This is against Sacramento. The Lakers trailed the Sacramento Kings 3-2 in the series and were tied heading into the fourth quarter of Game 6. The Lakers shot 27 free throws in the fourth quarter and scored 16 of their 18 points at the free throw line to win the game by 4 points. The Lakers would go on to win the series and the NBA championship. Later years, former NBA referee, Big Daddy Tim Donaghy, who resigned and later admitted to gambling in NBA games, suggested the conspiracy was real, noting that he heard a game had been fixed, the match description of the playoff game.
He spent 15 months in jail for gambling on games.
You wrote a book?
Dude. Yeah. For sure, games are...
Let him back.
Like I said, it only takes one.
Let him back,
It only takes one.
Let Big Donaghy back.
Let Pete in, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
No, yeah, for sure.
So they just called fouls to try to send.
Yeah, there was like maybe
I can't remember that.
I remember that.
I watched it.
I think there was little to no fouls on the against the Lakers going for.
Was it Robert Horry right there?
Yeah. I don't think the Lakers fouled them once in the second half, dude.
Crazy. Theory. I want your opinion on something. In my opinion, from a on the field standpoint, like within the field of play, basketball's easily the easiest sport to rig on the field, in the field of play, because of the way the optics of it, the way it's played. Like, if like you and me play physical, we could bump into each other, and you could call a foul either way, just from you and I clunking into each other. And I think that's why it's the easiest sport to rig. If the referees are gonna rig it, it's the easiest sport. Like, yeah, you can call holding, you can call some pass interference, but if players are really skilled in football, you're not gonna get those calls.
Well, you know what
I'm saying?
They say that there's always like one or two players on each team that know what's going on.
So what you're talking about? You're talking about the structure of how they would rig.
Yeah.
So you're going into how the NBA rigs games,
NBA or football or anything. There's always
so you think there's players that know a script, like how this is going to go?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely scripted. There's
see, this is the stuff. This is the stuff I want to get into.
You can watch NFL players talk about how they have to follow script and stuff. Well, that's not to the script. That wasn't to the script and things.
What? I've never heard someone say that ever.
Put it on, dude.
I can't play videos.
Listen, what I did was I watched. The reason why I think
that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, scripted. Oh, it's definitely scripted, dude. When I found out that it was,
because you're gonna ruin sports for me. That's why MMA is the greatest sport.
When I found out that it was labeled sports entertainment, just like the WWE. And I don't think every game's scripted. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they go out there and they actually play.
So you think they try to, the NFL tries to do things in a way to try to navigate the season so it goes in a certain way, a handful of ways that they're happy with.
Yep.
And do you think every now and then someone just goes off script? Do you think every now and then a team's just like suck my dick and just goes hard?
That's why, like, that's how I can call out some interceptions sometimes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because if someone is going in for a touchdown and I think they're supposed to score because they're supposed to be the ones winning the game, and like we'll say Tony Romo for that example, he
shout out to Tony Romo because he's the fucking man.
He is, dude.
I love Tony Romo.
He taking a drive, dude, and they're in the red zone. Throws it probably to Witten. It probably was. You know, he likes Witten in the end zone, and
he's open.
It was intercepted, dude. And what happened was I forgot who they're playing. They were driving on the Cowboys, the Cowboys were driving, and threw an interception because Cowboys just got an interception in the end zone from them. You know what I'm saying? So then the Cowboys went on a drive. And it was like the second play, and I was like, yeah, he's going to throw an interception. He wasn't supposed to intercept that in the end zone. It was supposed to be a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? It happens all the time. Watching the Cowboys-Redskins game a couple years ago.
What happened in that?
I think it was Deshaun, who was it, Jackson that went to the Redskins?
Yes, he played for the Redskins.
Caught the punt return, dude, ran backwards 20 yards. It got tackled on like the 5-yard line instead of like the 30.
That's fucking funny.
Like,
but
what are you doing?
Let's play that game. You can get away with that because of his attitude. You can be like, "Oh, Deshaun, he's wild. He's out there. He's being stupid."
They were down by like 10, dude. I mean, you want to run forward. You don't want to run backward.
Yeah.
It's easy to rig it, dude.
This shit's hilarious, dude. Number 5. Well, you don't know much about this, but
no, I'm not a rugby.
The 1990, and I don't either. But the 1995 New Zealand national rugby team was poisoned prior to the NFL. What? Prior to the World Cup final?
Food poisoning? Yeah.
Why? In front of their fans, South Africa defeated the heavily favored New Zealand squad in the final of the 1995 World Cup. Before the match, many members of the New Zealand team came down with food poisoning, and after the game, their coach blamed mysterious waitress named Susie.
Well, here's the question. Did Susie work there after?
Well, this is what it says. One of the team's managers is on record saying Susie was not a real person. Instead, the day before the match and after a big night out left the members of the team feeling not too fit, and the team drank what he called dodgy milk.
Yeah, dude, they got hammered. They all went out and partied and friggin' They didn't get food poison. They might have, though. Here it is right here.
Oh, here we go. Here's the big one. We got to talk about that. I know you know a lot about this.
Well, the reason I think the Patriots are rigged is
let me read it, and then we'll let you go off on this shit.
All right.
The NFL destroyed evidence about Spygate to hide what the New England Patriots were really doing.
Absolutely.
Listen. Look at Billy Bell's right there. Young Billy Bell's looking like a pimp, dude.
Well, look at freaking Robert Kraft.
Billy
look how
Bell's,
young he
bro.
is.
Yeah, I don't know. Robert Kraft still looks old there. But look at Billy Bell's.
Well, not anymore. I mean, look at him
Billy
now.
Bell's looking like fucking, what's his name? Jocko Willink from the side.
Sure, when was this? 2006?
Old. It says, why the fans believe it's true. After Bill Belichick and look how long the second one is.
Oh, this is about the Rams.
After Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots were caught spying on the New York Jets during a game, the team gave the league tapes, which were later destroyed. A Boston Herald reporter said the Rams secretly taped the St. Louis Rams walkthrough before the 2001 Super Bowl. Many fans believe the tapes destroyed by the league show the Patriots cheated to win their first Lombardi trophy.
Possible, but I don't think it is. I think.
Oh, so you don't think it is?
No, I don't think that. No, I'm pretty sure that they destroyed the tapes and stuff. But
you're talking about this particular one.
Yeah, but the reason they won the Super Bowl in 2001, dude, that was 9/11. Stuff like that. No, it was, dude, because look at St. Louis.
Tell me more.
St. Louis used to be Los Angeles, dude, you know what I'm saying? So the plane leaving from Boston that day was headed to where? Was headed to Los Angeles. Patriots. Friggin'
wow,
Rams.
That's some deep shit, dude.
Dude, it's all set up, bro.
So that's the significance.
Turn the Patriots helmet sideways, it's a 9, dude. Or the
Lord,
Rams helmet sideways, it's a 9.
It's a 9.
The Patriots is 11. And shit like that, dude. It's crazy, bro. Tom Brady's... Listen, this is why Tom Brady's last Super Bowl was last year. Started with the Rams, ended with the Rams. Tom Brady's last Super Bowl was last year, bro.
So he's not winning one this year?
Nope.
Who's going to win? We'll say that.
I don't know. I can't tell right now because it's still a little early. But like I said, I wanted the Browns to do good because
that
they needed a stadium.
And I'm a Bengals fan, but the Browns.
They needed a stadium. I told my stepdad that he's a Browns fan.
Yeah, dude. Big shout out to Jimbo Slice.
I said they're gonna do all right. He's like, nah. Like the next day,
do all right.
The next day they got like Kareem Hunt and friggin' Odell.
That's
I was like, dude,
funny.
they're gonna do all right. It'll take them some time, bro.
Jim's like, don't fuck with me.
Right.
Don't fuck with me.
Jim, he's funny.
Dude, he's the man.
He is.
Why it's probably not true. It says the tapes handed over to the NFL were from the 2000 to 2002 seasons, but reportedly did not include anything from the Rams walkthrough. The Herald later retracted their report, and the NFL said they investigated and found no evidence. Also, during a Senate investigation, the Patriots staffer told Senator Arlen Specter that that's a name I can't deal. I remember Arlen Specter. The several dude, we're getting older, dude.
We are.
Jeez, Arlen Specter, dude. The best part is, like, if there's anyone out here that's like a teenager that's listening to my podcast, they don't know about anything.
Yeah, they're confused. They're like,
dude.
Yep.
They were in the Patriots gear and lingered around and watched the practice and replayed what they had learned to Belichick, but did not videotape anything. As far for the destroying the tapes, it is more likely, since on the tapes had already leaked, that Goodell did not want any others going public.
He probably just didn't want the hassle.
So how much do you... Let's see what the next one... Okay, so how much do you really think the Pats cheat? And by the way, there's a lot of things that the Patriots have done that a lot of other teams do too. So why do we have to kill the Pats? Is it because they got caught?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of teams tape other teams practicing and stuff.
Deflategate, teams do that.
But the problem is... Aaron
Rodgers is like, I like mine over-deflated.
Right, but the problem with that is that...
I probably would want to, but...
It does affect the catching and the grip of the ball. Now, if they're supposed to be at a certain weight before the game and they're weighed in and they come back and they're not that weight anymore, you should get in trouble for that. No matter what team you are.
But they can't be changed throughout a game. There's a bunch of balls. No.
You get game balls,
because there's a lot of balls that you use. They get swapped out.
There's game balls. So you set aside certain game balls. Well, it just so happens that the water boy or the ball boy set aside some certain game balls that were deflated in the bathroom after they were already weighed in.
Okay.
No, I mean, come on. It's illegal. Funny. It's illegal. Every team that does it should be caught and should get in trouble. They didn't. I mean, what? 2-game suspension?
I don't remember.
Brady may have known about it or knew about it. He knew. Yeah, of course he knew about it. He told the guy.
It's the Teflon Don, baby. The Teflon Don.
Guy's an asshole. He told the guy. You ever see how he used to talk to his pool guy through emails?
No.
He's like, the pool guy's a fucking asshole.
Tom's an asshole?
Tom.
Really?
Dude, he's a dickhead and shit. Yeah, dude.
Really? No, for real, though. He doesn't seem like... Now, I know here's one thing I wouldn't do. And Nate and Silvani and I go back about this all the time. I hate this old ass, I'm fucking 80-year-old fucking spiel where you're like Silvani always says, act like you've been there before. You played sports when you were younger, just like us. I'm not apologetic about it. I'm the type of dude where like, you're not my fucking friend unless you're my teammate.
Yeah.
I'm not there to be friends with you. I'm not going to say nice shit about you. I'm going to knock you down, all that shit. And if I was a professional athlete, I'm not going to stand up there and act a certain way because everyone around me do. I'm not going to be an asshole, but I'm not going to be like Tom and Peyton up there scripted, be like, oh yeah, hey, and like just talking dudes up and shit. I'd be there and answer my questions, but like, I'm not going to be happy about losing. I'll be happy about winning, but I'm going to be, you're happy if you win and you're mad at you lose, but no matter what's happened in any sport I've ever played, I've always felt a level of indifference because I know that's not the only thing that's important in life.
Yeah.
So for me, but I'm not going to, here's the thing though, but when I'm in the zone, after the fact, I'm a little bit indifferent. In the zone, I'm trying to fucking kill you. Like, not so much lately because like we've been playing basketball, we suck, but like it's just basketball. But when I was younger, and especially in MMA, like we even got like all of my buddies I train with and stuff at the gym, we're like that. We like our coaches tell us to fucking simmer down because we're all boys. We beat the fuck out of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the way I look at it.
But you know what I'm saying? And like it helps us get better. But like obviously, I'm not a religious guy, but I like to use the term. Like if I'm playing a real contact sport, football, MMA, something like that, I'm trying to take your fucking soul. And unapologetically, like I have to be like that in order to play good. I'm not gonna be. I wouldn't say I'd be like Marshawn Lynch, who just doesn't talk.
No, he's just here so he doesn't get fined.
But I hate the whole act like you've been there before. Hell yeah, dude! If I'm Chad Johnson, I get to the end zone, I'm celebrating. Chad Johnson didn't even get in trouble at all when he was in the NFL until the very end of his career. He had an altercation with his wife, but yet they shit on him the whole time because he celebrated. But guess what? He hit the end zone twice on good teams every week. I
don't think I'd celebrate, dude. Be humble a little bit. That's your job, man. You get paid.
So you're in that group too. You're in that group too.
You get paid to score a touchdown.
Crazy, but I would definitely be
let me ask you a question.
I'd be like, suck my fucking dick.
At FedEx, do you do a dance when you sign out a truck?
Dude, that's not the same.
It is. It's your job.
It's entertainment, though.
Yeah, but it's your job.
Different.
No,
it's different.
I'm going to come tomorrow when you sign me in.
Listen, my job.
I want to see you do a
little dance. What are you going there for tomorrow?
Just to see you.
Okay. I wand you so fast.
No,
but like,
I want to see you doing.
It's different though. It's entertainment. It's expression. It's a different kind of job. So like now, you definitely could get crazy with it. Like if you're fucking hurting fans or hurting somebody else or being fucking obnoxious and really slowing the game down. But like Chad Johnson hit the end zone, did a river dance for 5 seconds. And they're like, oh, fucking despicable. It's like, well, why don't you worry about like fucking stopping them from hitting the end zone on your team? How about that?
I don't care that they do the dances, dude. That don't bother me. But myself, I wouldn't do it.
Like when we played football, I was a fucking asshole. We talk shit. Nate and I talk shit to absolutely everybody. Like I was an asshole. Like I would help dudes up. Right, but that would probably be the extent. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Sure
I'm not gonna stand over him and
out of my way to fucking be like whatever. But I
help him up.
What I'm saying is, if I was a player with a degree of respect, I would speak my fucking mind and not act fake. If I was a player, I truly believe I would be myself. I'm not gonna be fake.
The way to do it is, man, is everybody's your friend until you get on the field or on the court.
I have a revving point though. I got to rev down after. I feel like can I be the last person to do an interview because I'm not ready to fucking talk to nobody.
I would. You know what I'd do on the interview is I'd probably just go out there and be like, yeah,
rip a blunt.
Yeah, of course. I'd go out there and I'd just be like, look, man, my team, I'm not a one-man team. So, I mean, I can't take all the credit.
Or you could just say what Adam says. Adam's like, it's not about if you win, it's about how the game is played. I'm just like, all right, dude.
Hey, it could be true, though.
So, number 7. Pete Rose had a secret agreement to be reinstated to baseball after a lifetime ban. So, do you know anything about that?
I'll tell you this. If that was true, he'd be in the Hall of Fame already.
Barry Bonds was in the Hall of Fame.
Dude, one of the best. Yeah, and that dude was popped for the most steroids in the freaking league.
He never got caught, but they know he was on it because he was in a book.
Same with McGuire and
McGuire got caught.
Sure, so all of them, but and all of them did it. There's no way you're going from 100 pounds to 200 pounds in friggin'
steroids saved baseball. Sorry,
right.
People. It says Pete Rose had long acted as though his lifetime ban from gambling on baseball games was never supposed to be a lifetime ban and that he would eventually be reinstated. However, the commissioner, Bert Giamatti, who was actually, I'm pretty sure, Paul Giamatti, the actor's dad, died just 8 days after the suspension was handed down, and many fans believe his promise to Rose died with him.
I could see that.
Giamatti was replaced by the close friend Faye Vincent. If it was the wish of Giamatti to reinstate Rose eventually, it is likely Vincent would have known and would have honored his friend's desire.
Not if he doesn't like Pete. Vincent's a man of baseball. He don't like gamblers, dude.
I heard Pete Rose really doesn't like anyone that's not white. I always heard those rumors. Pete Rose just punch a black dude in the face.
Amazing hitter.
Really?
Amazing hitter. I don't know. I've never seen a punch a black guy in the face. That's not what I was talking about.
They make fun of him on that Jesus Amaro show. Dude, I gotta send you a link. Jesus Amaro do this one where they do a compilation of all the greatest. They play a compilation of all the greatest baseball fights, and they
awesome.
As it goes, they what is it? They do they break it down as it's happening. They do a why is the word escaping me? You know what I'm talking about. The word's escaping me.
So
they commentate it. And it's fucking hilarious. And there was one, it was Kurt Schilling. I don't know if it's Pete Rose. They're making fun of Kurt Schilling. It's supposedly Kurt Schilling's like a super racist. And there's a part where Kurt Schilling's like in the middle of a fight. and Mero goes, what's your name? Martinez? Bah, 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 bah. And he goes, what's your name? Rodriguez? Bah, 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 bah. And then later in the fight, he's got Big Papi by his shirt. And Jesus goes, come on, boy. He goes, you're coming with me now. And all this shit, dude. Dude, it's funny. They show a fight with Alex Rodriguez gets hit. And, Alex Rodriguez is a big fucking dude. Imagine getting punched by Alex Rodriguez, dude. And he was pissed. He gets hit by a batter and he just starts walking and turns and they make eye contact. He starts going, fuck you to the guy. But it's muted, right? You could see him going, fuck you to him.
Yeah, of course.
And dude, Merrill's so funny. He goes, he's doing an accent, right? He's like, fuck you, man. Fuck you and all this stuff to him. And he goes, fuck you. He's like, you want it? And all this stuff, right? And he goes, that was back when Rodriguez had frosted tips. He's about that action, dude. And his hair was frosted. It was so funny.
Justin Timberlake.
Dude, it's great. But I don't know much about... I don't know anything about the baseball series.
Pete Rose was probably one of the best hitters in baseball history. And he'd be in the Hall of Fame if he didn't gamble on games, dude.
Ooh, this is a good one. I did not know this one.
Oh, yeah, this one's for sure.
I'd have to go watch the video. In 1965, Muhammad Ali knocked out Sonny Liston in a rigged fight with a phantom punch. Have you actually watched the video of
Yes,
that?
I have. The lightest punch you'll ever see in your life.
So he barely touches them and goes down?
Well, the thing about it is, you know how it is to get punched in the chin, dude. All it takes is the right angle.
Yes, if the person knows what they're doing and they hit you flush, any man could be knocked out.
All it takes is the right angle, and it doesn't have to be a hard hit.
Yeah, different.
So
the reason is different shots to the head, and it's funny. I wrote a paper on this for my biopsych class. Specific shots to the head do specific things to your head. If you get hit hard enough across the jaw, there's nerves that run to a certain spot of your brain. It'll just shut your brain off. That's how you get knocked out. Now, if you get hit hard enough anywhere in the brain or on the head, it can shut you off. But if you've ever watched, go find this. For example, I'll just use one example. If you get shot back here, if you take a shot to the back of the head on the sides, like behind the ear, that's where your cerebellum is, and it
reset button
controls your gross motor function. So if you notice when dudes get hit behind the back of the head like that, they don't get knocked out fully at first.
Yeah.
They get their motor skills go. They start flopping all over the place. They're discombobulated, almost like they got hit with a stun grenade. You know what I'm saying? Then the dude runs up and finishes them off. That's because if you get hit hard enough there, it just stuns you. You can't see good. Your coordination's bad.
What's the first thing they teach you in Marine Corps martial arts? Our martial art instructor said, bend over and I'll show you the reset button. Smack this on the back
of the head.
Yep. Wham! Shock through the whole body, dude. Yep.
But yeah, so it says in the first round of their championship rematch, Muhammad Ali knocked Sonny Liston down with a punch that many in the attendance did not see, leading to the name Phantom Punch. Mm-hmm. To add to the conclusion, Ali did not immediately retreat to a neutral corner, delaying the referee's count. Liston staggered to his feet about 20 seconds and resumed the match. However, the referee then stopped the fight after the official timekeeper signaled that he could not that he counted Sonny Liston out. This led many to think the contest was rigged, and that it says,
sure.
It is clear that Liston's head snapped when Ali's glove made contact with his chin. That's what they say.
He hit him, but depends on. It's the way I looked at it is I think he grazed him. I could pull it up on my phone, but
I have questions for you.
Yeah.
On this. What round was it in?
First round. Yeah.
First round?
Yeah.
It has to be rigged.
See, Liston. He owed money because he was a big gambler too.
Now, if it was late in the rounds and they were both tired, I could see it more. Yeah. It doesn't matter how good your chin is. I know from experience, you get exhausted, it's hard to take punches.
Now, Sonny Liston's one of the best boxers of all time.
Oh, for sure.
And he owed money to the mafia too, man.
God, the plot thickens.
He owed money to.
So he took a dive.
Okay. Watch the video, dude.
Took a dive. I have to go watch it.
If I had my phone, dude, I'd pull it up.
I can pull it up.
Dude, it's barely.
You can watch it as long as.
I mean, you're the fighter, so I mean, you do this stuff. You could tell me if what you think. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Now, the reason why I asked you what round it was, dude, is I've been hurt really bad. Mostly, like, if you're training and you get really exhausted, or you're sparring or fighting someone, you get really exhausted, dude. I've had situations where we've been going for so long, and it's like you've done 5 rounds of kickboxing sparring or whatever, dude, and then dudes hit you with shots later in rounds. You can't take them as much as you could take them early. When you get tired, it makes
you don't have it all in you
shots
anymore. Yeah.
So let's see.
When your legs go, everything goes, brother. Once your legs get tired, you get tired. Endurance training, buddy.
Okay.
Mike Tyson it, pal.
Right, let me see. I'm going to have to fast forward. It's in black and white. It's just crazy.
Oh, yeah, old school.
Back in the day. What you know about Odessa Clay?
Yep.
Trying to find it. Okay, let's see. I'm watching right now. God, Ali's movement was so good. Just was never there.
Oh, he was an awesome fighter. Danced.
Oh, I got to see it from another angle. So he throws a jab and then he leans back and throws a 2.
Right.
But is there another angle? I need to see another angle. There's not another angle because it's so old.
There might be.
I'm going to watch it one more time.
That's the one where he stands over him and yells, "Get up," I think, right? Get up.
It looks to me like he definitely hit him.
Yeah,
that's what I said. But it had to be. It literally was one of the cleanest punches ever. Yeah. His head goes like this.
Right
as he comes across the chin.
And it doesn't look like it's a hard snap.
Do you think it's the camera angle, though? Because, like, for example, you know what it reminds me of? You know what it looks like? It looks exactly like when McGregor snuffed Aldo and took his belt. It looks exactly like Aldo's head just goes burp, like
Could be just the angle.
One punch. It could be the camera angle. Yeah, it's
iffy, but he might have thrown the fight. I mean, that's one of the best. In the first round, you're trained to take a hit, you know. And if he got it, see, the thing about it is the ref, I think, is why they say it's staged, because they gave him 20 seconds.
Yeah, there's something screwy with that. That's crazy. Well, here's another hockey one. The 2005 NFL draft was rigged so the Pittsburgh Penguins could draft Sidney Crosby to save the troubled franchise. So shortly after the Penguins escaped bankruptcy, they were still in trouble. The franchise threatened to move to Kansas City, of all places. The team then won the 2005 NHL draft lottery, the rights to draft the Wonder Kid. Why do they put a U? Wonder Kid? It says Wonderkind.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
Sidney Crosby, and shortly afterward, an agreement was in place to build a new arena. Why? The Penguins were on the were one of the 4 clubs tied with the best chance of winning the lottery. One of the other teams was the New York Rangers. While Crosby may have saved the Rangers, is arguably would have been better for the league if he ended up with the Rangers, one of the worst teams in leagues at the time. Oh, here's one. I knew there was one with Cleveland.
On, buddy. This is where I see.
So you got something about that?
Yeah, I got something to say about that one. This is where I think. Hold on. What did it say? It said that he was there. Oh, the stadium. See, they needed a new arena.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying that's why I say, well, because the Falcons needed a new arena. They went to the Super Bowl that year. Stuff like that. It's all about money because it's taxpayer money. It's taxpayer money that builds those arenas. You know what I'm saying? So how do you get it? How do you get it?
Hand out of my pocket.
You get it by making your team better. You know what I'm saying? More people tune in and watch your games locally. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man.
Look at if the Bengals,
yeah,
if the Bengals were 8-0 right now, would you be watching it? You still watch every week?
I've been watching, but I didn't watch last week.
How much more people would be watching? You know what I'm saying?
It's like that with every franchise.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So when your team sucks,
we're going to talk. If I can remember, speaking of that, we're going to talk about towards the end. I want your opinion on a hot ass topic that people hate, and it's one of those things where it doesn't matter. I'll remember it. It doesn't matter if you think it's right or wrong because you can make arguments. Whatever, but the causation of why this particular topic is the way it is factual and it's real, and we don't know how to fix it. But it has to do with sports. We'll talk about it.
Okay, cool.
I think you probably conceptualize maybe in your head where I'm going, but number 10 is the NBA rigged the draft. I knew one of these had to do with Cleveland. The NBA rigged the draft for the Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron James signed with Miami Heat. Which I thought it was going to be about LeBron going there because he's from Cleveland, but yet,
right.
I mean, Kyrie Irving's filthy and shit like that, but he's not LeBron James. Like they probably were expecting him to be better than he is.
Well, the thing about it, didn't he just win the championship with Cleveland? No, he didn't win yet, did he? He promised to and didn't, and then he left.
I would have left too, dude. You're there for 8 years, dude, and they can't get you any help.
What are you
won 60+ game. They won 60 game once, and that starting lineup was him, Zadrina Salgakis, what's that dude there? They could shoot threes, just play defense. Danielle Marshall and Drew Gooden were playing like power forward and center. Larry Hughes, Mo Williams, and Boobie Gibson, and they won. They went to a finals with that. I would have left too.
Oh, I'm not saying he's bad for leaving. I'm just saying, dude. Yeah, leave. I would have left.
People like, oh, he left. It's like, dude,
Cleveland was supposed to be the hot ticket.
It's up to them. It wasn't the heavy social media age as it was back then. It's as big as it is now. It's up to the organization to get you players, bro. You mean to tell me no players back then when LeBron was in the prime of his young portion, where he's like 23, just murdering everybody? I can't believe no one want to go there and play with him.
You're saying after...
He didn't even have an attitude yet.
He was there for 8 years, you said, right? 8 years?
7 or 8.
7 or 8.
And they were nasty with him. It's like if they would have won championships, if they would have just gotten him a 2.
Think about it.
If Kyrie Irving was older and would have played with him, they would have won championships. All he needed was a number 2.
He's the number 1 moneymaker in the NBA, dude.
True.
So, I mean, Cleveland was making that money. Then he left. They weren't making that money no more. Dude, the fans were all upset. Dude, you remember people were burning jerseys and friggin', throwing things away. Crazy stuff, dude. Burning their jerseys.
Yeah, it says fans believe that the NBA rigged the draft lottery to help Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron James took his talents to South Beach. And the Cavs received nothing in return. The Cavs won the draft lottery in 2011 and then again in 2013 and 14. They didn't make those picks count except for one. And picked Kyrie Irving. The aforementioned Kyrie Irving. Why is it probably false? The Cavs were not an especially long shot to win the lottery. Only the Minnesota Timberwolves had a better chance to win the lottery, and even they had a 75% chance of not winning. The fact is the NBA lottery is designed to make it unlikely that the worst team gets the top pick.
Yeah, the lottery is a lot different these days.
How do you feel about the lottery? You think it's something they should keep doing? I'm not a big fan of it.
I think that
I get it. It gives like if you just suck all the time, you get the first pick over and over and over and over again.
I think that they should go to the players they want and say, look, if you want to play for us, play for us. If you don't.
Ooh, that one's rough, though.
That's the way it should be.
No sport does that, right? Except for soccer. Soccer's the only one that does it. They trade players.
I think they should do like college football.
Soccer's so huge, though, that you have to just do free agency.
You do it like college football, man, where they do what team is he going to go to? Yeah, that's all you got to do, man. Recruit players.
But by that notion, don't you think it would be way easier for teams to just stack teams and just win championships?
Teams are stacking. They're stacking now.
Not right now.
Not this year.
Shit's balanced.
Not
No,
this
I know,
year,
but only one team. Like you could, if you, by that measure, you could have 6 Big 3 teams right now in the NFL if you wanted to do it like that.
Sure,
you could have 3 teams with Big 2s and Big 3s on East and West.
Sure, you could.
Which I don't know. The lottery's just weird to me, but I don't think they.
I don't like the lottery. I think they should recruit.
That's interesting. I've never heard.
Because let me tell you something. Not every player always, plays the par. Some are busts.
Some are busters, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
The game's on. We're watching.
What's the score?
And the Cardinals are up
Intercepted.
7-0. Here we go. No.
Intercepted off the hands.
Every interception's rigged. Intercepted. No, I think he was returning a punt.
Was he?
Was George Kittle injured? Rigged. Shit's rigged. Hashtag rigged.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
George Kittle's a beast.
Well, the thing about injuries is I think you can rig it in. I think you can fake injuries with players that
be like, hey, we'll slip you $1 million under the
like, hey, this is Drew Brees, man. He hurt his thumb, right? Couldn't move his thumb, had to have surgery. They're like, oh, he can't move his thumb. That same game, I saw him giving everybody high fives with his broken thumb and throwing up thumbs up and doing a whole bunch of hand side stuff. Come on.
Speaking of that, we've been talking about it because we can't stop watching it. Tell me you've seen the video where Aaron Rodgers had that game where he hurt his knee and then went back
and played and
came back out and then just destroyed.
Destroyed.
Won the game.
Who was it? Who were they?
I don't remember who they played.
Probably the Cowboys.
They were losing, but he ran back. Dude, he was zooted. You ever see the post fight? The post fight? The post show where he's talking to the chick after he wins the game, winning touchdown?
Fucked up.
Dude, he is high as fuck.
Gave him a
His
shot.
eyes are huge, glistening, tiny little. Dude, they gave him something, tiny pupils. Dude, you need to watch it.
Cortisone shot, dude, and then they hooked him up with some drugs.
You need to hear his audio, though. Dude,
slurring.
He's cheesing, slurring words. He's smiling. He's light sensitive. He's got his hat like this.
Sure.
Dude, the sound bites are hilarious. She goes, what happened back there? He goes, well, he's like, we were down. He's like, yeah, go in the back. He's like, they worked on it. He's like, we're in a really precarious situation. He's just throwing out big words all of a sudden. Dude, it's fucking funny. And then he goes, I went in the back and they worked on it. He starts to cheese and he goes, we came out, figured it out. And I was like, she goes, what hurt? What was hurting on you? He goes, out of nowhere, he just goes, it was my knee. Wicked loud, dude. He starts just talking loud and shit, dude. It's great. And then at the very end, he can't even just keep it together. He's just cheesing. And she goes, have a good night. He's like, you too. Starts smiling, takes off. Dude, you need to find it. He goes,
see, injuries.
Hit my knee.
Injuries help the script out a little bit, I think. Do I think Tom Brady's injured right now? What do I know, dude? He's old. He could be, but also, what is it? A strained shoulder?
I don't know. Is he injured?
Yeah, he's on the.
I did not know that.
He's on injury reserve right now.
Okay.
Strained shoulder, I think.
Huh.
So, and you got to admit, his shoulder isn't what it used to be.
It's not, but
he's throwing into the ground, overthrowing, underthrowing.
Last year,
he's hurting.
Last year down the stretch, though, when he had to, he could still. If in certain situations you give him a clean pocket, he can throw some heat on it.
I'm talking about this year.
He can still put some heat on the ball if he needs to.
Thank God for his defense, saving him. Dude.
So how do you feel about that defense?
Number one defense in the league.
But you're right. But do you think it should be historic, given the fact they haven't beat no one good?
No, I can't. No, because that's the problem. There is they haven't played anybody good, not at all. And yes, they're all hip hyping about being fucking 8-0.
Yeah.
But come on, you played the Miami Dolphins. They haven't played the Dolphins yet, have they?
Everyone, that's another. No, I don't know. That's another one that everyone thinks that strength of schedule helps rig everything.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like that's one of the things you could definitely do.
Patriots have the easiest schedule, dude. What's the hardest team they play?
I don't know.
The Ravens.
Well, they're in the worst division.
But I mean, come on.
That's like the worst division ever.
You don't have to play teams in your division.
You have to beat
only
beat
4 of them. Well, you play 2 of them twice.
That's what I mean. Right. No, you play 3 of them twice.
Yeah, you play 3 of them
you
twice.
Gotta win 6 games.
Yeah, so you got to beat 3 of them. You only play 3 of them.
And I agree with Anton. You got to build. I agree with Anton, though. Something Anton always says all the time. You got to build teams. Bill Parcells used to say this. You got to build a team first and foremost to be able to win the division that you're in, and you got to build it tailored to what you got to face in your division. If you're good enough, you're going to win non-conference games or divisional games and shit like that.
Right.
But he's a big Bill Parcells fan.
When you're playing doo-doo teams, you're going to win doo-doo games.
So what sport do you think is the most rigged? Like, what sport do you think is the most rigged? You could say all of them. Like, what things in sports do you see? Give me some scenarios and examples and some things like, what have you been reading lately? What did you Did you go home and research again last night or what?
No, not really. I mean, I just throw them off.
I know you know a lot of them. You were saying that shit back. Remember we had the Super Bowl party at your apartment back in the day?
Yeah,
you were saying that shit back then.
That was when the Patriots won, of course. It was right then.
Oh, that food was dirty. You know how it is in the Borden house. The food dirty, dude.
It wasn't bad.
No, but I mean, your parents can cook. Nate can cook. You can cook.
Well, thank you. I apprient that.
No,
buddy.
I know you can cook too. You're always like posting stuff, a little aioli tonight.
Yeah, dude, I love it, dude. I got, I learned to cook for my daughter because she has to eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and NFL, dude. The NFL is one of the biggest rigged games out there. And the reason
we're watching the Niners and the Cardinals game right now, by the way. Flag, rigged.
See what I'm saying?
Rigged.
Well, dude, a lot of it is because there's a holding on every play.
Was that Darren?
But it always comes down to the third down. And if it's 3rd and 7, he throws it for the big gain. All of a sudden, there's a hold on the play. Offense, got to bring it back.
Like that Saints no call from the other year, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
That's one of the worst calls of all time. Well, he got his face mask there. It's not rigged.
Yeah,
but maybe he got paid to intentionally go out there and face mask people.
It's blatantly obvious this year that the refs are terrible, and the refs...
Oh, dude, they're trash.
And that could be a reason the refs... When people say, "Oh, they're going back to talk to New York to see what's going on," dude, how do we know? We don't hear them, dude. How do we know that the coaches aren't talking to each other in the headsets?
Supposedly,
dude?
There's like a timer thing they shut off during plays or something.
Yeah, but you remember a few years ago when the Steelers were picking up the Patriots
run deep third,
or when the Steelers and Patriots headsets got crossed at Foxborough and they're picking up each other's, dude.
Yeah. I forgot about
right.
That. You're right.
How do we know that they're not talking to each other? It's like, prime example, Super Bowl with the Buccaneers and Oakland. Who was it? Jay Gruden and Bill Cowher? Is it Bill Cowher?
What team?
Was Oakland Raiders coach. He got brought there by Gruden, right?
Oh yeah.
Then Gruden left. Gruden left to Tampa Bay.
Yep.
They just happened to meet each other in the Super Bowl that year. All week they practiced a different game plan. Guess what? Friday before the Super Bowl, they went back to the original game plan. Dude. Friday before the Super Bowl, the game plan that Gruden knew. So obviously Gruden blew him out in the Super Bowl, dude.
That's fucking funny.
Yep. Blew him out in the Super Bowl, and you know what? All the players are like, "Oh, it's because Bill hates the Oakland Raiders. He didn't want to be here. He got brought here by Gruden. Then Gruden left, and blah blah blah."
What sucks about this whole thing is like, I've always been competitive. I wouldn't say I've always been the most competitive guy because I think as we're starting to get older. And even when I was kind of like this in my early 20s too, I really think there's a balance towards everything you could do, every emotion you could feel, all these other things. I was very ultra competitive, but I pick and chose when I wanted to be ultra competitive. Like, I'm a very competitive guy, but like there's just a lot of things that super competitive people care about I don't care about. I'm not on all the time. Like Nate's super competitive. Like Nate tries to make everything a game. Tries to make everything an argument. Like, they will argue with you for the sake of arguing with you, even if he's not right. Like, stubborn. Like, I never been like that.
He's a Borden.
Dude, it is. That's all I couldn't imagine. I love the stories from when you guys were younger, like, friggin' fight with each other and shit, dude. They're so funny,
I just put the boots to him.
Although the best part is, you guys that eventually listen would suspect, the reason why I love the stories about him and his brother all the time is because they'll tell me the story the exact same way, but they always, like, a lot of their stories, they flip it at the end where it's like, Nate will be like, yeah, and I did this to him, right? But then Steve would say the same story, they'd be like, yeah, but this is how it really went, and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it's so fucking funny.
That's because that is how it went. Nate
and vice versa. You'll tell a story, and they'll be like, no, that's not how it went. He'll tell a similar story, but then at the end, he comes out on top.
I give credit where credit's due. He got me one time.
Was that the one with the fridge?
That was the one with the fridge where he hit me in the face with the freezer door. That was the one, dude.
I can't even believe. I'm sorry, but Nate tells me these stories, and in my head, I'm fucking dying because I'm trying to picture it. That's the one where you ran around the corner, after him, and he waited and threw the freezer open to hit you in the face.
Dude, he threw the fridge door open first and stopped me. And then he threw the freezer door open and hit me in the face. Dude.
Oh my God.
It didn't knock me out, but it made me stumble.
I would have assumed,
dude.
The other
he's
one
he's got me with a headlock once too.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'll give him credit.
I feel like he's got a mean headlock. He's just built like that.
But it wasn't because we were fighting and he got me with a headlock. It's because we were just messing around. And my stepdad was there going, yeah, do this. And he got me in a headlock, dude, and he got me good. I saw fucking sparkles. Really? I was like, dude, I'm seeing stars. I told him I'm seeing stars, brother.
The other one that's funny is because, speaking of this person, I seen Ronnie out here the other day.
Yeah?
Or not the other day, today. He's like scowling at me because you stand in the middle of the road and I'm sitting there like, move your fucking ass. Like, I knew it was him, but I'm like, fucking move, dude. He's like looking at me, telling me to go around him. I'm like, no, you move. I'm not going to drive my car close to your ass. You're in the middle of the street. So he moved, but I seen him earlier. And the one where I don't know if it's Nate's at the computer or you're at the computer or Ronnie's at the computer. That story. How did that go? That story's funny.
Nate came
Your mom had to break it up. Is that what that
happened? I called him a bitch
or something. He was at the computer,
and he's like, "If I had a knife, I'd stab you now." So I went and got him a knife and I handed it to him and I said, "Stab me then." And he got up, dude, and like mollywopped him too.
But what was the story where like Roddy accidentally?
No, I knocked my mom over on that one.
Yeah, but Ronnie. Yeah. The funny part was with Ronnie. You guys started fighting. Roddy tried to break it up or something like that, and then Roddy got cracked, and then you guys are both just beating Nate up or some shit. Or something.
Yeah, things like that happen, maybe, but I can't remember.
Dude, that shit's fucking.
I threw him in the old headlock and knees to the gut, but you know how he is. He's got that power gut. So.
Nate tries to Nate thinks he can get under my skin and he can't. So like Nate will fuck with me and be like, Nate, for this ongoing thing where he tells everyone that he could take me down and all this shit. Like if we got into like a grappling match or a fight, he'd be able to take me down and work me, right? So I literally tell Nate, I'm like, listen, dude, you couldn't take me down if I had fucking brisket in my back pocket, dude. It's so funny. He's like, I can take you down, dude. I'm like, I told him, this is how this would work. I told Nate, I go, they lock us in the cage. I'm like, you would make an attempt at a takedown on me. I go, I would stuff it. I go, and then you would immediately get tired. I go, and then you're fucked. All this stuff, dude. Right? He's like, whatever, bro, and all stuff. But no, D's.
I feel like he's a little too awkward to do stuff like
D's
that.
Can scrap though. I've seen D's put the boxing gloves on.
Yeah, but have you seen him?
Scrap. Yeah, but I mean, I've been in fights. D's never. None of my friends, half my friends, haven't seen me get in fights.
Right.
When I bounce, they see me get in fights. Like the story Adam tells everyone where he watched me fight these dudes in front of the bar. I take Adam out on his 18th birthday. I didn't get a lot of fights in high school. I didn't meet Nate till high school. Although the first time Nate and I fought, he always tells us, or the first time we fought, when Nate and I first met, remember, I don't want to say her name in case she listens, but I'm not even friends with her.
Throw out like a.
Okay, do you remember the why? I'll just say it because she might not even listen.
Dude, just throw out initials or something. I could try to.
You
put
might
it
not know
dude.
this.
I'll try to put it together.
I forget her name. I'll just say it.
Just give me a first name.
Tabitha.
I know who you're talking about.
But there's more than one.
Her last name start with a K?
No. Starts with an R.
I think I know who you're talking about.
She used to be in love with me, right? And back when I was in junior high school, I was a fucking asshole and I got in fights. I got held back because all I did was pick fights with dudes and didn't do my work, right? She wouldn't leave me alone. Was chasing me around. And I'm pretty sure it was her. It was chasing me around and all this stuff. And because I said some shit to her, I shouldn't have said, being an asshole. So I run into Mr. Gebhardt's room.
Yeah.
I heard do you remember Mr. Gebhardt, red team science teacher, bio teacher?
What grade?
7th. That's when Nate, is it 8th? 7th or, no, it was 7th. Nate and I met, but we weren't friends yet.
I was on the white team on 7th, I think, dude.
So, anyways, I heard he had a heart attack or passed away or something. If he did, RIP to the big homie. But
yeah, rest in peace, buddy.
So Nate was sitting in there all by himself, and I'm running from this bitch, and I run in there and I hide, and I sit down, and I knew Nate, but we were at that point, we just knew each other, and I turned to Nate, and I never talked to Nate in my entire life, and I go, yo, Nate. To him, and he goes, looks at me, and I go, yo, you gotta get my back. I'm about to beat this bitch's ass. And I was talking to him, right? He goes, what the fuck is he talking about? I go, this bitch Tabitha just chasing me around, trying to fucking I'm gonna fucking knock her out, get my back. She's a big bitch. All this stuff, right? And he's like, and then from there, we were acquaintances, and then we didn't become friends until summer school or some shit. We're in a math class.
Summer school?
Yeah.
Easy?
Dude, Nate's my fucking boy, dude. Nate's. One thing I will say about Nate is, and you're like this too. Nate is one of, like, obviously Nate can rub people the wrong way because he's like stubborn, and a lot of people at work think he's like mean and shit, but Nate is one of my most cherished friends because, and you're like this too. I know I get, like, there's a part of me that feels like Nate kind of is like cares, but he doesn't care type thing. I know you genuinely care, but like what I love about Nate is I really feel like Nate's honest.
Yeah, he is.
And I know that if I'm having bad thoughts that aren't proper, or if I'm bummed out, or shit's not going right for me or whatever, I've always been able to turn to Nate, and he's been able to give me honest, factual advice. And he's also been someone to steer me in the proper direction when I'm fucking up. Like, if he's always been like, if he sees me thinking a way or behaving a certain way, or, you know, I say something, he's always been like, yo, you know, get yourself together. Like, that's not how that really is. You know what I'm saying?
He's a smart kid.
He's kind of always like kept me, he's kind of been one of the forces that's kept me on track in a way. And so I'll always cherish my friendship with Nate. It's just weird now. We got like fucking, he's got family, you got a family. Like, it's just weird. We're getting older and shit. Like, all my friends have families now. I'm fucking this fucking single rider out here. No kids.
Do you want kids someday? Probably not, right? You don't know?
So I used to say no. Here's the thing. Unlike all the other animals on the planet, which is why I think people need to stop. Okay, there are things that are 100% black and white. We're having this thing at work. Black and white. Like, there's 100% truths, no matter how people want to dispute it about our biology, that 100% makes certain things about us real and tangible. But people need to also remember that we need to stop being lazy when we assess situations with people and things that go on with people, events, things that happen, because there's other components that go on with human beings that can change the course of our life that are not just biological. For example, well, I know we're going into a fucking shitty gray area here that people don't like to talk about. But for example, I'm all for people expressing themselves whatever way they want to be. It doesn't matter if you like dudes, it doesn't matter if you like women, if you get whatever. Like, if you want to be a woman and you're a man, if you're a man, I don't care. And I have no problem calling a man that used to be a woman who wants to be called a man, and vice versa. I don't have a problem doing that. I'm not like, but I won't go out of my way to to change my whole entire vocabulary to play that game where it's like, 70 different pronouns and all that shit. Just, this is the way you are, and I accept you for the way you are, and this is how I'm going to address you one of two ways. You pick, right? But that's us fighting against our biology. For example, we're the only animals that can do this. We're cognizant of the fact we're alive. We worry. We wonder if God's real or not. Like, all these other things. Like, we're different than all the other animals. You can conceptualize and really think about the animalistic part of you and fight against it. By the average measure, I should have had a child already. You know what I'm saying? I'm 29. Like, if we're being honest here, right? But by not having a kid, I'm fighting against my biology, right? Because we're still
You're fighting against nature is what you're doing.
Yeah, fighting against nature. Like, we're supposed to have kids. Supposedly, we're supposed to. But
that's what we were put here for, dude.
Right. So what I'm saying is, over time, I used to say no. For me, I don't have that real angst and urge like most of these human animals running around to replicate. I never have. I've had girlfriends that I really, really cared about, and I could have done whatever with, probably had a child with. I mean, one of my ex-girlfriends has a kid. Yeah, one of my ex-girlfriends has a kid. A couple girls I used to see have children. I used to say no. As I get older, I've decided that I still don't care if I have them or not. If I don't have them, I'm cool with it. If I'm done with school and I'm in a place where I have a decent job or I've established a career, and a woman's proved to me for a long enough time that our relationship is like real and tangible and it's good and serious, if she really, 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 really wanted children that bad, then I would consider it to make her happy.
Right.
And I know I'd be a phenomenal father. I love my children. But for me, it's one of those things where if I have them, cool. If I don't, cool. At least that's what I think.
Here's the whole thing.
And it's by no means, it's a beautiful thing.
I believe
having people, it's what life's about. Yeah. I'm a firm believer. I think that people have children. So when they hear me talk, they're like, oh, well, you're selfish. I think it's the inverse.
I don't think you're selfish.
I think from a philosophical standpoint, all of us, if we decide to have kids, it's almost a little selfish for ourselves because you're trying to live vicariously through your children. You're trying to build a network of people that could care about each other through life. Like, do you want to be by yourself and be lonely and not have Sky to be there for you when you get old? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it works both ways. Like, you get the satisfaction of living vicariously through your daughter, teach her how to be a good human being, like you can, and then she gets to hang out with you for the rest of your life.
The thing that gets, I believe, is I believe that we're here simply,
and obviously we have different philosophical.
We're here simply to install joy into other people, to make people happy, dude.
I word it differently,
and that involves, well, like I say, because I believe in God and the Bible and stuff, I believe it's man and woman. It's always been man and woman. For 2019 years, it's been man and woman. It's never been man and she-man. And,
well, biologically, they're the only ones that can replicate with each other.
And she. There's always been.
But you don't care that there's people that want to be the opposite, right?
No. I love everyone, man.
Right.
Love everyone, dude. If that's your thing, that's your thing.
Well, like if anyone wants to come in and try to tell me I'm not saying from a religious standpoint. We know for a fact until we do some fucking wicked, crazy science, which will probably come. Right. That'll probably come someday. But like right now, it's like you got to be a woman to have a kid, and you got to be a dude to get somebody pregnant, and that is the way it is.
That's the way it is.
It doesn't mean people can't pretend or want to be, and even if you feel like you're the opposite, go for it. The only thing I don't like about that is I don't like people trying to push that stuff on their children. Like it's not.
Me neither.
Here's the thing:
child abuse. I think.
If you physically go through altering their body. To me, it's child abuse. It's fine if your child wants to be whatever they want to be.
They want to be.
But when they make that decision on their own and get older, when they're 18 years old, then let them change. Or when they're 16, whatever it is you want to do, right? But like, do you know how much you're destroying a human being's body at that age if you fuck with their hormones?
Destroying everything, their mentality, their everything.
That's I'm just talking about from a right.
Well, for every situation is different. From every standpoint, a 7-year-old. Say you take a 5-year-old. That's a male,
right?
And you continuously tell him that he's a female, and you dress him up as a female. That's gonna change his mentality on life. He's gonna see things differently.
Well, that's the argument that people are for that try to say is that it's all a social construct. It's all there's no biological components. There, none of that. It's all about learned and shared experience, like shared and unshared experiences. How you move in the environment and how you're parented dictates everything about who you are as a human being. And it's not. It's a multitude of things. It's your biology. It's your heritability. It is partly that. Like what you experience changes you fucking forever.
Yeah, you're a product of your upbringing to a point.
Where were we? Oh, where are we going with that? I view life from a philosophical standpoint similar to how you do. I just don't believe, like personally, obviously, as you know, I don't believe. Honestly, it's not about believing. I'm just not scared and I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care what happens, dude. I don't care.
Here's the thing. Is we're all connected. We're all humans.
That's my point.
We're all connected. Even animals.
We're social creatures.
Animals have blood in them just like us. Made from the same stuff.
You go, okay, I see where you're going.
Made from the same stuff that we're made out of. And, everything on Earth is made out of the same stuff that we're made out of. Our bones are made out of the same minerals rocks are. Or there's water in our blood, the tree sap, it's all everything. So we're all connected.
So you're just super spiritual out here. I know you're not a spiritual guy.
I'm just saying we're all connected. So the whole point is to make, once everybody realizes we're all connected and what I do to you affects the next person,
right?
That's when we're going to finally understand what's going on.
Right. I agree with you to an extent. I agree with you. I word it differently. My whole thing is I realized this when I was young, and I love how we've turned from a sports to a philosophical, but this podcast is about everything. We're going to go back to sports in a little bit, but I was thinking about this today because I heard a song that reminded me of my grandmother actually when I was riding home from school. My dad, for example, this is part of the reason why I think like this. My dad wasn't around when I was a kid, like a lot of people's parents. Like, and some people are missing a dad, contrary to popular belief. Some people out there missing moms too. Mm-hmm. There's bad moms out there. Oh, look at George Kittle just fucking trash of people. Touchdown, rigged. It's tied. Steve just winks at me, dude. That's fucking funny. No, so
what you got to do is you got to look at the owners and stuff. Friggin' Robert Kraft owns part of CBS or something,
God.
Dude.
Jesus.
And CBS has that huge deal with the NFL, right? Or something like that. and he owns part of it. So
yo, he fucked that dude up.
He's a winner,
dude. But no, so like I was saying, the reason why I've come to this philosophy where, like I said, my brother and sister, they're a handful of years younger than me, right? And their dad met my mom, and his family became my family. I wasn't around my grandparents from when I was first born. Like when I was 2, I wasn't a toddler hanging out with my grandparents, just my mother and I. And then she met Doug and had Spencer and Sierra, right? So his family becomes my family, right? And these people aren't related to me at all, right? But they were so stoked about having grandkids that my brother and sister's grandparents treated me just as good as my brother and sister. Like I was their first grandchild, pretty much. Like I was the oldest, but when Spencer and Sierra were starting to get born around the time we started having family functions and stuff. And my grandmother, Betty Jean, she fucking loved me. My great grandparents loved me and all these other things. And so down the line, everyone started to pass away and, and all these things. And then I started to have trouble wondering what made me happy in my teenage years and what was it that makes me happy in my early 20s. And I was trying to find a sense of purpose and meaning and all these other things. And I was just worried about like so much shit, and I couldn't understand why I was so worried about it. And I come to the conclusion when I really sat down and started thinking about my friends. Like, for example, we've been talking about Nate, we talked about Adam, and then like she was not my real grandmother by blood, right? Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of family members that are related to me by blood that fucking suck. And I don't care if they fucking hear this shit. I'm sure my cousins will probably follow the page and hear it. Most of them all fucking suck, except for a few of them. My mom grew up in a home where like their family was in shambles. My mom was, and she doesn't care if we openly talk about it, my mom was subjugated to every abuse you could think of as a child and all these other things. So I learned quickly that like the people the closest people to you, even family, can fucking hurt you.
Oh, absolutely. And
I started to realize that blood doesn't matter.
No,
right?
No.
I'm a firm believer that, similar to you, but it's said differently. I'm a firm believer that most of our happiness is derived by the relationships that we build with other people and how healthy they are. You could be in the most terrible position in life. You could have nothing. Things aren't going for you or whatever. But if you got good friends around you, it makes things so much better. People that care about you, help you. And that's what it's about. If you can maintain a high level of homeostasis with your friendships and your family, dude, things won't be as bad as people think they could be. And obviously we live in a world we got to maintain with the economy. You got to pay bills, all these other things. It's hard. But like, yeah, I woke up and I was thinking about it one morning. I'm just like, I got a friend like Nate, I got a mom that cares about me. I got my brother and sister. I got friends like you. I got friends like Adam, Darren, Anton, all these other people in my life. And I did a good job getting rid of old shitty friends. That's one of the keys.
Same here.
Right?
Yeah.
And I looked around and I'm like, I've realized that most of my happiness is derived from the relationship that I have with these people in my life that have proved to me time and time again that they're my friends.
Sure.
Right? And that we all care about each other. We're in it together. We were like-minded. We want the best for one another. And when I started to realize that, dude, I'm not joking, like I was a little bit depressed in my early 20s, didn't know what I wanted to do with myself and all these other things, but I started to realize that, dude, things have been like exponentially better.
Right.
For me in almost every facet. Like I'm way happier than I've ever been. And I started working less than I used to. And obviously I'm busy with school and work, but I try to take out my time to go do shit with my friends more often. I try to not work that holiday. I try to not take that overtime. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we see it the same way. And it's like, that's my family. Like you, I consider you like family. Nate,
thanks,
consider
brother.
you like family.
Same.
Adam, everybody. My cousin Jake. Like I got family members that live in other states that are blood that don't give two fucks about us. That's not my family.
No, blood isn't nothing. Dude.
Like Sierra sees cousins, and no offense, like she's got actual relationships with them. Sierra's always like, why don't you go do this with cousin so-and-so and aunt so-and-so and all these other things? I'm like, Sierra, I barely know them. And like, we're not sitting down eating together all the time.
Right.
We're not helping each other out all the time. We're not calling each other up or texting each other being like, yo, can you talk to me about the shitty day I had? We're not in the debris together doing this together,
Family, dude. What is family? You know what I'm saying? Your mom, your brother, my brothers. You know what I mean? Anybody who was there for me It was my family. Blood is just blood. Everybody's got blood in them.
DMX said blood is thicker than water. At least they say it is.
Well, the thing about it is, in the book I read, it says,
Cain and Abel.
Yeah, when Cain killed Abel. Well, like I was going to say, in the book I read, it says when Cain killed Abel, that's when blood brothers went out the door.
Cain slew that ass, bro.
He killed his own blood brother. That means blood doesn't matter no more.
I've actually watched that show Lucifer. Have you seen that?
Yeah, no, I don't watch that stuff, dude.
Oh, dude, it's a good show.
I don't watch TV.
You're not
brainwashing.
No, it's just a show. It's not. It's just a joke show. It's a show where the devil decides he doesn't want to be a devil anymore.
You got to understand.
He just lives on Earth amongst the humans, and he helps them and saves them and stuff like that.
Yeah, what you got to understand is they're making him
Illuminati.
They're making him look like the hero.
They've had ones where gods come down too.
Huh?
They've had ones where God comes down too.
Yeah, but they're making Lucifer look like the hero.
Well,
but hold on.
I want you to educate me on this. Hold on. Okay. I want you to educate me on this then.
Right. Lucifer's not a real person, by the way.
Okay, so explain that to me before I ask you my next
Lucifer is not a real person. That was a name given.
But there is a fallen angel that's a devil that supposedly runs hell.
There's like 200 of them, dude. There's no place as hell either. That's all.
So hell's not a real thing?
See, Christian theology, I don't know where it comes from, but hell. See, you got to go.
It comes from people.
Well, you got to go back to the Jewish because Christianity comes from Judaism.
Right.
There's no hell in Judaism. There's Sheol. That's just where that's where your soul.
Sounds
goes.
Like something you eat.
Yeah, it's where your soul goes to rest. It's just a resting place. Okay. There's no hell.
So there's no hell.
No. There's Sheol. How come? What's there to be hell for, dude?
Okay, so
it's just like this.
So hold on.
It's like this. If you take out loans from me,
right,
and you don't pay me back,
sticky loans.
Right? You don't pay me back. I'm gonna put you in jail until you pay me back.
Right.
It's the same thing, dude.
Okay, so
every debt that you occur with, we'll say in an account, say for hypothetically speaking, every debt that you occur is a sin. You're not going to get into heaven until you pay that back.
So I will be straight up front with you about the hell thing. I've always seen that there's different theories to what quote unquote hell really is. So, for example, according to the show, they take the theory, the tact of Lucifer is an angel that fallen, whatever, and he runs hell to punish people, right, for all their terrible sins and deeds. They didn't get into heaven. And I've heard him talk, like, let's suspend, and think if he is real. Supposedly, from what I've read in some spots, that he's not actually a bad guy. He's punishing people for the shit that they did. Like, he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's kind of just the overseer of all the people that did bad shit. He's not coming, he's not trying, some places I see he's not trying to influence you in the real world. He's just chilling, and he's like, if you fuck up, you're coming down here.
If you read the Bible, like my old man always told me.
I've tried to read
my old man always told me, he always said the devil's just like Mr. Slugsworth.
Mr. Slugsworth.
He's actually working for the person.
Right. He's working for God, essentially.
He's actually working for the person who he's pretending not to. And as far as that is, there's hell, no. Satan, no. Satan, all that means is adversary. So, like, when they say Satan, they explained Satan in they use the words ha-Satan for an angel that stood in the way of, I can't remember his name.
Ha-Satan.
That just means like the enemy, the adversary, who stood in the way of a man who was going somewhere that God didn't want him to go. So an angel stood in his way, and the donkey saw it.
Oh, the donkey saw it.
The donkey saw it, and he wouldn't move. So the man started beating his donkey. Beating his donkey. So after a while, the donkey spoke to the man, said, "Why are you beating me? I've been with you for so many years and have never done anything bad for you, and I've always worked for you. So why are you beating me? There's someone in the way. You know what I'm saying? There's someone in the way. It's just an adversary. Right. Someone in your way to getting to where you got to go."
I will admit, have you heard me say this before? I have friends that think I'm a Satanist.
Yeah,
I've told you this before because I know you're religious, and I wanted your opinion on it. I got friends that literally think I'm a Satanist. It's because I love heavy metal music. I love dark imagery. I think, honestly, I do think the imagery and all the demons and stuff associated with hell and all, I really do think that stuff's dope, right?
Yeah.
But no, like, my friends think I'm like, AJ always goes, if there's someone that's a serial killer or a Satanist, it's 100% heaven and all this stuff. But you want to know why I kind of like that imagery? It's because I always use this metaphor. People like to say people that do bad things. I wouldn't say it's a metaphor, whatever you want to call it, an analogy, whatever. But people always try to say if you do bad shit, like if you do heinous shit, you're evil, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how people say, "Oh, my life's like a living hell." From a metaphorical standpoint, or whatever the word is, I'm bad with words like that, but you can make your life a living hell from a philosophical standpoint. You know what I'm saying? But you can make your life heaven from a philosophical standpoint. And part of the reason why I went back to school and I wanted to become a clinician, and I'm fucking going to school, is because I think people don't pay attention to the fact that we all feel negative thoughts. We have negative things happen to us. We have bad feelings, and we experience evil fucking shit, and there's evil shit in the world, bad shit, whatever you want to call it. And I just think that I embrace the truth of that, in the tangibility of that in the world. There is going to be that always. Like, we always have down moments. People do bad shit. There's killers, there's rapists, all this other stuff. And then there's good people. It's part of being alive. And I just want to understand it, and I embrace it. Like, I'm one of those dudes that knows everything about every serial killer ever and all that shit. But, like, yeah, I would be lying if I said I didn't like a lot of the imagery, and I think it's just as dope as all the positive stuff when you learn about it and all the stuff. Like, the red and the black and all. It's cool. So I make no bones about that. Like, I think horror shit and demon shit's cool.
The reason people will say Satanists,
but I don't like super satanic metal, though. I hate that shit. Like, I've listened to a couple satanic bands before, but
they just believe that Satan is the light giver. You know what I'm saying? That he
was supposedly trying to do some good shit.
Yeah, that he was helping us. You know, but in reality, he didn't help us, because now we all die and we're all living shitty lives. Right. And I mean, even if your life's not shitty, it's still pretty shitty. That no one has a great life unless you have. Even if you're super rich, you always have that problems. Part in you that is missing something. So right.
And I would venture to guess. There's a theory. God, I've learned so much shit. I don't know if it's Maslow. Or I think it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I always mix his name up. It's not Pavlov. That's something totally different. But there's this thing. It's like the hierarchy of needs, and all these needs you got to meet to be psychologically sound and things of that nature. And I think it's him who talks about self-actualization. There's definitely people out there that manage to get through a lot of their shit and eventually live self-actualized lives.
Yeah.
There's definitely some people out there that put in the work and got to where they wanted to get and are enjoying life, and they don't have issues. There's definitely people out there like that, but it's hard to get to self-actualization.
I find that hard.
No, but I'm saying it's not.
Humans
not
are fickle.
Easy to
Human emotions are fickle. Humans, they change every minute. Humans change.
I guess it depends on the situation.
With our surroundings.
I guess it depends on the situation.
Our surroundings really maintain how we feel.
Well, from a psychological standpoint, that's true. They call it masking.
Yeah.
They think that you're not the same person in your work environment as you are at home or when you're out in public. I think that probably varies between people. There's got to be people out there that are the same anywhere. I think Nate's pretty much the same anywhere.
I'm sure it does, but yeah, Nate's pretty much the same.
You're pretty much the same anywhere, except for remember back in the day at that house party we were in, you throw thousands of dudes come out.
That's when I was a drinker.
Flicking the nose, bro.
That's when I was in the Marine Corps and I was a drinker. Ready to fight.
Back in the day, Sleuthy Sleuth.
No, yeah, shout out, dude.
I met him twice.
Yeah.
Nate always says, "What would Sleuthy do?"
What would Sleuthy do? I should get a hold of him. Last I talked to him, dude, I shouldn't shout him out. I'm not gonna shout him out. Like that. I love the guy. He's a great guy. That was when I met him. That was the first night I met him. He's like, "What up, dog?" And all stuff. I'm like, "What up, man?" I'm like, "I heard a lot about you." When Nate's confused, he'd go, "What would Sleuthy do?" That's what Nate says. He was a good guy. He was a good kid. He made some stupid choices though after the Marine Corps.
Do. Yeah.
But I haven't talked to him in a while. I should hit him up.
You probably should. Sleuthy Sleuth. Let's go. But yeah, so no, I knew we would go off into like a philosophical tangent. I had a feeling.
How can you not, though? That's all it is.
Like, I mean, I know. Like, I mean, maybe it's because we're watching this football and we're all rigged out. It's all rigged simulation.
If you're anything like me, dude, normal conversations throughout the day, they don't entertain your brain.
I have a hard time
with these with. I'm not saying that everybody is. Well, I don't want to say layman. Like
I know what you're saying.
You know what
I was about to say something similar to
everybody Like,
not that we're overtly smart, but like,
no, not at all.
I have a hard time getting along with people if I can't maintain
right.
Like, a serious conversation
have intelligent conversations,
especially like when it comes to dating women. Mm-hmm. If I can't hold a serious conversation with you, or you have no proclivity to want to have conversations about our day or anything in depth, and if you're just like meh, all the time and like don't care about shit, like I'm not attracted to it. You could be a 10, and if you can't have a conversation with me, later, lose my number.
I'm a sapiosexual, man. I find intelligence, attractive.
Sapiosexual.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, look at this dude roll out.
You find intelligence attractive, dude, because if you can't have an intelligent conversation.
Not that I'm overtly intelligent.
I'm not overtly intelligent either. I'd like to think that I'm smart.
I just got questions.
But
I just have questions. That's all.
Like, I have questions that I like.
Shit.
I like the answer, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for the answer.
I've gotten comfortable with not knowing.
That's the problem.
But here's the thing, though. For example, back to Nate. We've brought up Nate a lot. But
yeah, I love him.
Dude, Nate will argue with you about anything. Dude, you could bring up a subject. Nate will talk as if he's an expert in that subject. You'll be like, yeah, this carburetor on a flight jet. He'll just be like, oh, yeah, I know everything about carburetors. What model is it? What model is it? Let's just start talking. Like, and I'm just like, I'm the type of guy where if I don't know about something, for example, I don't know shit about cars unless you're talking about Audis. This is the only car I like. I don't know anything about cars. So I'm literally not going to sit there and say, have a conversation with you about cars. I mean, if you're really asking my opinion, I'll try to the best of my ability, but I'm comfortable with not knowing shit. I want to seek stuff out and figure stuff out. But if there's things I don't know about, I don't speak on them all the time. Like if you really wanted my opinion on something I didn't know about, I would have to make you lay out all the stuff that you think is factual about it. And then I can make an inference and then be like, okay, well, this is what I think. I don't know if I'm right. But like, I just know too many people that will talk about absolutely everything and think they know a lot about
That's why
stuff.
I like to do my research, man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, man.
That's why I like to read, man. If you read and then you know that everybody's bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? It all started with Columbus, buddy. When I learned Columbus didn't discover America, that's where it started, pal.
It all started with Metal Gear Solid to me. Metal Gear Solid. I love
Metal Gear, dude.
Metal Gear made me start be like thinking like about everything and be like, oh man, I got questions.
Nothing is as it seems.
Dude, I know, right?
Nothing is as it seems, folks. It's all a hologram.
That's fucking hilarious. So I want to, we'll shift gears back to sports. I wanted to ask you a couple questions about the football season.
All right,
a couple
let's
questions
see what's
about
going
the NBA
on.
season. So as we look, we could sift through the divisions and stuff like that. Okay. What teams do you think could surprise someone to make the playoffs?
What do we got here?
In the NFC.
What are the Browns? Browns are 2-5.
See, some people think the Browns are going to make a resurgence. Their back half of their schedule is weak.
I said that. I said that they're going to go on a
lot of
win.
the analysts are saying that too.
But
are you saying it because
I'm saying it because they need a new stadium.
They need a new stadium. Let's go.
But look up who else needs a new stadium, you know?
How about this? If the Browns come all the way back and then they get a new stadium built, we got to go to it.
All right.
We got to go. That's for sure. We got to go to the stadium.
Let me see fucking I don't really pay attention to a lot of teams. The only teams I pay attention to is really the Bills, the Patriots.
Well, you know what sucks is, you know what I noticed now? We look at this in the AFC, dude. Each division is so top heavy.
Yeah,
like look how bad it drops off. So Patriots 8-0, Bills 2-0, then boom, Jets 1-6, Dolphins 0-7.
The Chiefs, I think the Chiefs, Mahomes is going to be the next face of the NFL.
Oh, for sure. Don't even get me started on Mahomes.
They're going to go on.
I called Mahomes being this good.
They're going to go on their
dynasty. They're 3 in a decade. They better get a fucking defense first.
Dude,
they can't stop it.
Dude,
we can go out there and score.
It's not about defense. It's about script.
Yeah, it's about the script. So
just like Tom Brady, dude. When all of a sudden, who was it? Bledsoe? Was it Bledsoe?
Oh yeah.
Gets hurt. Yep. Tom Brady comes in, and friggin' the rest is history.
I think if there's
rigged games later,
I think if there's any team that out of all these teams that can come back, it's the Browns. They have the talent.
I think the Browns,
and they have a soft ass schedule too.
Who's that? Well, let's see. Go lower.
Well, here it's pretty close with all these teams, but the Titans are trash.
Browns are going to make the run.
You think the Browns are going to make the run?
The second half of the season, they're going to get their shit together.
Baker Mayfield's going to just chop it up.
Well, Odell is better than what he's been playing as, dude. And so is Hunt.
Personally, I think they should trade Odell.
Do you?
And get offensive linemen because they have too many mouths to feed. They were just fine last year. Baker's rookie year, where he threw 27 touchdowns with his number one being Landry. Landry's a number one guy. Mm-hmm. I don't care what anyone says. Dude, did you know that until these past 2 years, because of like Cleveland hasn't been, even last year he was really good. He was on pace to, if he would have played till he was on pace if he would have played till he's like 36 to have the most catches all time or something like that. Yeah.
No doubt.
He was catching, like, from the minute he came in the league, he's been catching 100 balls. I think they have good, decent young wide receivers. They have a young tight end. They got these running backs. Pound the rocks, let the play action. You could trade Odell Beckham for a team for draft picks and offensive tackle. And they need offensive linemen. I don't care that they just picked him up. I would shop his ass.
I'd keep him.
Why, dude? I'm telling you,
because you're only going to get better as the team goes on, dude.
Well, you're also, I've heard through the rumor mill that you're also one of those guys that think it's the wide receiver that makes the quarterback.
The wide receiver does make the quarterback.
We have to debate on this.
Let me tell you a reason why, dude. If you're my wide receiver, but you have hands of stone, and we have a whole game, and every time I threw you the ball and you didn't catch one pass,
how many really have hands of stone?
Whose fault is it? Yeah, but I'm just saying, whose fault is it?
It is the wide receiver's fault.
Right. So the quarterback's not that great that game because he can make a completion. So now that's the quarterback's fault. The wide receiver doesn't get blamed. The quarterback gets blamed.
See, I have the
just like the run after catch. When you catch the ball and you run 60 yards and they add it to the quarterback's yardage, they shouldn't.
One thing I will say is this. I disagree with you on that. One thing I will say, and your argument is this, that I've always said, which is hilarious. I devalue wide receivers. I started to value them more because of the league we're in. You can't touch them and shit.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is my two favorite players of all time are wide receivers, which is hilarious. Who? Steve Smith and Chad Johnson.
Yeah, they're good players.
They're beasts, right?
But imagine if they didn't ever catch a ball.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, look how good... there are some arguments. Look how good Steve Smith was. One of the best of all time. He never had a good quarterback. But here's the thing. That I know you have to get open and shit, but that position is solely predicated though on a dude being able to get you the ball though. So it for me that creates a rough patch for me when I evaluate wide receivers because like there's a lot of wide receivers that can get open, but dude, if your offensive line's not good at all, dude, and you're not really good at quarterback, dude, you're gonna fuck your whole entire team up. But I think quarterback's just so much more important.
You can be the best quarterback that ever played the game. But if you don't have a receiver to catch the ball,
I don't know. Drew Brees and Tom have done it.
We'll say your completion rating all season is a 13.
That's not going to happen. Yeah, no one ever throws a 13 completion percent.
Say if it did. Hypothetically speaking, is he a good quarterback? Even though the season before he threw for a 97% rating.
If you're throwing 13%, you're a trash quarterback.
What if he threw like a 95 the season before?
You played trash that. If you listen,
that's what I'm saying. So either you're thinking maybe it was a fluke last year.
No, I don't know. Listen, I don't care who my quarterback is. If he came out through 13%, he'd be gone.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying you're only as good as your other team.
Here's the thing, though. Adam tries to say that to an extent, but there are quarterbacks that have taken bad teams and been really fucking good.
Well, sure.
Like Jason Garrett wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for fucking Tony Romo.
Shouldn't have a job.
He would have been fired years ago had Romo not got you 10 wins.
He should have been. The problem with that is it doesn't matter how many wins we got a year. Friggin' Jimmy Johnson won the Super Bowl 3 years running.
Jimmy.
He got fired,
dude,
bro.
People forget about Jimmy Johnson.
Got fired, so it doesn't matter.
But I agree with you on the Browns, though. I think if there's one team that makes a run, but look how bad all the other teams are. By default, they got to go on a run because, like, say they go. Look it's not inconceivable. The back half of their schedule is trash, right? Mm-hmm. They're 2-5. You could go 9-7
for sure.
That'll get you the wild card in the AFC. 9-7 get you the wild card.
I'll say Ravens are going to beat the Patriots.
You think they're going to beat the Patriots? I hope so because I have Lamar Jackson in fantasy.
They're playing in Baltimore, right? Baltimore's a rough stadium, dude.
Let's see who's winning this game. Okay, so NFC. Okay, so I know you're winning the division right now, but I think now is
I ain't winning nothing, brother. I ain't playing.
You're a Cowboys fan.
I'm not. Yes, but I'm not playing the game, so I'm not winning anything. They are.
Okay, well, the Cowboys, your team.
Yes.
If I think the Cowboys are a team that are actually going to go on a run. Now they're starting to get healthy. I believe that. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl. I disagree with Skip.
I think they're going to even out.
I think they get 10 wins.
Do you?
Yeah. I think they get 10 wins. Because
What's the rest of their schedule
Philly's
looking
way
like?
too inconsistent, dude.
What's the rest of their schedule looking like?
Okay, so they got the Vikings.
Yep.
That'll be a tough one.
Yep.
Patriots will be a tough one.
Yep.
They got the Bears. I think they should beat the Bears. I think they could beat the Eagles.
Yeah, I think they.
Oh, wait, whoa,
I think they could beat the Eagles
no,
too.
they got the Giants next. They're going to smash the Giants.
Yeah.
They can beat the Vikings, but that'll be a tough game. They should beat the Lions.
Bills will be a tough one.
The Bills and the Patriots will be tough ones. I think the Patriots beat them.
Rams will be a tough one.
They should beat the Bears. Rams will be a tough one.
We lose to the Rams every year.
Okay, so say win, loss, win, loss. That's 2 losses. I say they beat the Bills.
I say they lose to the Bills.
So I say they beat the Bills.
I'm saying they lose to them.
Win.
Good defense this year, brother.
Ah, man, they might go. They might even out.
Cowboys' offense is not great.
They could go 8-8.
Overpaid quarterback, overpaid running back.
So we know the Giants ain't gonna go on a run because they suck.
Yeah.
Well, Seahawks, they're right in the mix. They're gonna be the wild. You know what I said? I actually said this on the podcast with Andy J. Seahawks win the division.
You think so?
Mark my words, they win the divisions. They're 6-2 right now. Let's see. 49ers are out here struggling. Oh, they're winning now, but with the Cardinals.
What's going on in the world in California right now? Wildfires. Wildfires, brother.
Yeah.
You know why I think the Rams?
Yo, you're ridiculous.
The Rams
Wildfires.
The Rams can go to the Super Bowl.
So you think the Rams are going to make?
I don't think they're going. I think they're going to go on a run
5-3?
simply just because they came back to Los Angeles. And what is it? Their first real year back. I mean, they came back last year, but last year they went to the Super Bowl, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, and they lost. Yeah, they came right back to L.A. and went to the Super Bowl and lost, dude.
Dude, it's wildfires.
One of the best teams in the league, and they didn't even score, 3? They only scored 3 points the whole game.
So I don't think any of these bad teams make a run at all. What my surprise is I think the Seahawks could potentially win their division over the Niners. Falcons are trash.
What happened to the Falcons,
I know,
man?
it's so fucking crazy. They have talent.
Right.
It's Matt Ryan's trash. Overrated.
I think Saints are going to go on a good one.
Well, the Saints are already winning the division.
Yeah, but now that Breeze is back,
dude, Teddy's going to get paid. Yeah. Some sap's going to pick Teddy up. Like, Teddy's going to go play for fucking... Where can Teddy play? Let's see. Teddy can go play for the Bears.
I'd have him as backup.
He can go play for the Skins.
Put him as backup for the Cowboys.
Let's see. Where else can Teddy go? Teddy can go to the Finns.
I'd put him in the Jets, dude.
Broncos.
Teddy could go to the Jets.
Well, Sam Darnold's a good quarterback, but
for
his age, he's playing pretty good. That team sucks.
See, Dolphins are throwing their season.
Oh, for sure. Well, look at Teddy can go to the Bengals.
Bengals are throwing their season, too.
Dude, I have yet to go to a Bengals stadium. I've been to so many Bills games.
Dude, I've never been to any of them.
You've never been to an NFL game?
Nope.
Dude, it's a blast.
Dude,
it's a blast. You should go with me.
Yeah, maybe. I wanted to go to the Cowboys-Bills game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know, but then again,
what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I don't do anything for Thanksgiving, really, man.
You don't really celebrate it? Or?
I do. I usually just go to my mom's and then try to stop out to my aunt's house.
Or you should pop by. We're going to be here.
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, though, so I don't eat the turkey and the ham and stuff like that. Dude, what if you got that vegetable medley?
We'll probably have something. You try Mom's holiday salad.
Hey, all right.
Disgusting, dude.
What's in it?
Dude, I don't even know. I tried to explain it to Nate. Nate when Nate heard about it.
Coleslaw? What is it?
Dude, I don't even know. She probably could hear us right now. She'll be like,
oh, is she home?
Fucking sad. She gotta be. Yo, it's like lettuce with egg and mayonnaise and some other things like in layers with cranberry sauce over the top, and it's so gross.
It's like an egg salad.
I don't know what it is.
It's like
egg
an
salad
with
dude, it's gross.
Right?
But I don't think any team out of the NFC will make a serious run because I think the teams at the top of each division are pretty good in the NFC. If there is a team that surprises people, though, it'll be the Seahawks winning the division. If the Seahawks could win the division, dude, they're really good. And I don't know why. Why do people underrate Russell Wilson? Why do people underrate the Seahawks all the time? He's nasty.
The rigged Super Bowl that they were in, where he threw the interception.
Here you go, dude. Rigged.
When Lynch should have ran it in, the best freaking 1-yard running back in the league.
Dude, that's hilarious. So what teams do you think out of the AFC? What 2 teams do you think make the AFC Championship?
AFC Championship, Patriots,
of course.
Man, that's a tough one because
we have to see how the
I want to say the
bracket
Chiefs
shakes out,
because
too.
I like the Chiefs, man.
Well, Mahomes is going to be back soon.
Yeah, and I think that they're the next. He's the next Tom Brady of the.
And that was the
sport.
AFC Championship.
That's the AFC Championship
last year too.
All right, and I think that the Chiefs are going to beat them. If
Who
they don't
think
beat
the Chiefs
them,
win this time. They better play some defense.
If they don't beat them, the Patriots definitely don't win the Super Bowl if they go. Definitely don't.
Okay.
Their time's over.
Do you have a dark horse to replace one of those teams? Like if a team,
like it might come up running.
Think of two other teams on this conference that could possibly take one of those spots.
Bills.
You think the Bills?
Bills are doing all right.
See, I love the Bills, but you know what's going to happen?
You think they're going to go on a losing?
In my opinion, you can have a really good team. There's going to come a time where your quarterback needs to make plays, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're going to get to
Allen. He's all right.
Here's the thing: we were having this conversation. I was having this conversation with a Bills fan a little while back. I've watched his tape, dude, and there are times where he looks phenomenal. Like he'll make plays where you're like, "How the fuck do you do that?" But then there's times where he looks like the worst quarterback in the league. Like he's so inconsistent. And I'm not talking like one game he plays good, then the next game he plays bad. He does do that sometimes. But like, dude, he'll have drives where he comes down, he looks fantastic. Then the next drive, he just fucking throws picks, fumbles the ball. It's like, or he does something stupid.
All part of the script.
I think they make the card. I think they become a wild card team, but I think they lose. I think they lose in the first round.
Let's see who else we got.
I think if any team could sneak up and take one of them, it's obviously the Ravens.
Yeah.
And then you got to keep your eye on these Colts and Texans teams, dude. The Texans are one of those teams where they get hot.
I don't think Colts are that bad.
They're playing good. They got that, Jacoby Brissett out there. He said, fuck Andrew Luck in his fucking bum-ass fucking shoulder. That's a shame, Andrew Luck, man. Such a waste of talent.
But you know what?
I mean, he's made $100 million. Fuck it. If he wants to walk away, fuck it.
That's why, like I say, Jason Witten needs to get out. He should have went to a different team other than Cowboys.
Why?
Because that's a waste of talent.
Dude,
he'll never win a Super Bowl.
He's had like four. He
needs a Super Bowl.
Does he though? I thought that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but he deserves one.
I think he's
one of the best tight ends.
So from like you think that he just I think he deserves. He's a Hall of Famer no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's one of the best tight ends of all time.
I think he wasted his talent with the Cowboys. Yeah. He didn't really get the goal.
Imagine Jason Witten with the Patriots?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Ooh, the rigged team.
Dude,
imagine
if the Browns didn't, skip over Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in.
What is that, Sarah?
Dragons.
You like dragons?
Not tonight.
No.
Calling from here watching.
I know.
Also not tonight. Tomorrow then.
He goes also not tonight. Dude, yeah. So if you had to pick another team besides the Ravens, it's got to be the Colts or the Texans. One of those two teams. Like they're playing
the
really
Texans
good.
Over the Colts.
Yeah, because the Texans come out, dude, and as long as their game plan doesn't suck, dude, they roll people.
Well, what are they in the division? What's their division?
They're 5-3.
5-3. Yeah, that's the season record. What about in the AFC?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't say. I don't know. I know they lost to the Texans or to the Colts, I think.
Yeah.
Nah, so in the NFC, oh God. So this one's hard for me.
Packers are going. Saints are going.
I was going to say the same thing. Packers and Saints. Scripted.
Could be.
Packers and Saints.
49ers might surprise us, though. You never know. But
if
they got the new rugby guys
Here's the
who
thing,
freaking
though.
know how to take hits.
Here's the thing, though. Same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah,
Guarantee
true.
they get in the playoffs. He shits the bed and loses them a game. He's just not. He doesn't have the experience.
Got to look at the stats.
Doesn't have the experience. If there are, dude, Seahawks 100% are a team that can get the Super Bowl.
I think the Rams could be.
The Rams, the Vikings. Could Kirk Cousins? He's playing good the past few weeks. Could Swaggy Kirk come alive in the playoffs for the first time in his whole career, dude?
I think Kirk could.
I would lose my mind.
I like Kirk Cousins.
I do too.
And I know you like that.
Here's the thing. I like him because he seems like a good guy, and players and like the teammates love him and stuff. He shows that he's ultra talented. He can make all the throws, all these things. It's just in the big games, he hasn't shown up. Could this be the year that Swaggy Kirk comes out in the playoffs?
I watched his last game. Let me tell you what. He knew how to throw a football.
Here's the thing. How come Kirk's not throws for 6,000 yards with two of the best wide receivers on his team? Dude, I was just playing Madden earlier, dude. Thielen's at 93 and Diggs is at 92 or vice versa. It's like, yo, how are you not throwing for 7,000 yards? We got Kyle Rudolph. Dude, I can hand it off. Nate knows all about Kyle Rudolph. Last time I played Nate in Madden.
I got to give my mom a shout out.
Oh, you're good. Put her on speaker. We won't be much longer, though.
She just asked me about something.
Not going to hold you forever. Do you know it's a funny story about your mom?
The little sugar. I know, she's adorable.
Same as your child. You guys got beautiful children.
Well, I look at the fathers.
I haven't seen Colin yet.
Colin's, he's a handsome little boy. I mean, he looks like a baby.
Yeah, I didn't see. Well, like,
I mean, babies they're either way. They go either way.
Leah is so cute.
She's adorable.
But friggin', yo, dude, your mom all the time always makes this joke. Like, you could tell she kind of serious about it. She accidentally ran my foot over.
Yeah, we talked about the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
I feel like your mom thinks I'm gonna finally be like lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, you're like at the time, I'm like, you're my best friend's mom. Like,
She feels wicked bad.
It didn't even hurt.
She feels bad.
I didn't even feel it. I just felt pressure, and then I'm like, oh, she pulled onto my foot. Then she goes, oh my god, it pulls more. I'm like, it's okay. Like,
she left Nate at the truck stop almost. He was hanging out. He was hanging out of the stop, putting on his shoes. The door was open. He was standing out. She took off on him. He was running behind the car, yelling, "Stop! Stop!"
Dude, that shit's so funny, dude. When Nate starts telling stories about his childhood, dude, some of the stories you guys have, dude,
Wild.
I get into tears laughing so hard, dude. They're
Wild.
hilarious. Mine are, I don't know. I mean, mine.
Well, you got to make the best of a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Just like you, we didn't have our dad wasn't around either.
And then, I mean, my brother and sister's dad wasn't the best role model. Now he's running for alderman and shit.
Right. I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I know. I need to get that out of here. But yeah, so who do you think wins the Super Bowl?
Wins the Super Bowl
You think
this
it's
year?
Patriots again?
No.
Saints?
Patriots won't win.
I want to see the Saints win.
I would love to see Breeze win again.
Or Aaron Rodgers. I'd like to ever see Aaron Rodgers. He's playing lights out.
I don't
right
like
now.
Aaron Rodgers, man. He just reminds me of Ellen
Or
DeGeneres.
Seahawk. Yo, that's so. Why?
Just look at them. Look at their faces.
They look alike?
Pull them up. Pull them up. Can you pull them up?
Jesus, fuck yeah, I can pull them up.
Pull up Ellen DeGeneres
Oh, fuck.
next to friggin' Aaron Rodgers.
Is this like a meme or something?
Nah, they're like twins though, bro. Look at right there. Look at, bro. I'm not even kidding.
I understand, but not. If you really parse it out and look hard enough, they don't look that much alike. But when you see it at a
When
quick
they're
glance,
overlaid, they look identical.
when they overlaid, it looks identical. Yeah, that's fucking funny.
I always call them Ellen.
Dude, it's great.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers out here fucking tapping Danica Patrick. Lucky man.
Yeah.
He's out here, dude. Aaron's a dirty boy.
He is.
I feel like you got to get hopped up every night to get after that. She probably
tell you
drives.
what,
She probably
dude.
cracks a hard whip, bro.
She has a fine toned body.
That's word. She's got to be like 40 now, right?
Yeah, she's up there. She's up there in age. She is fine though, man.
Yeah, I would like to see the Saints. See, I'd like to see. I'd be cool if the Seahawks won.
I'd like to see.
Chiefs would be dope because I've been calling them. I called the fucking home.
Oh, they're gonna get in there.
Eventually,
They're decades coming.
So what would you? Okay, so what would your retort be if they don't win one?
Who doesn't?
Say if Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid don't win a Super Bowl ever, what would you say to that?
I'd say, well, it wasn't their time. It wasn't
like,
them. It wasn't their script. You know what I'm
But
saying?
what would you like? What would you say if the next decade it was just random teams winning for no reason? Would you be surprised?
I would be surprised.
So you think the Chiefs are the next chosen dynasty?
I think the Chiefs are the next, just because of last year of what Holmes did and all the friggin', I don't know, hype surrounding him. You know what I'm saying? How good he played, and we've never seen a quarterback throw like that before, this way and that way, and do that.
No
and
looks,
this.
fucking passes and shit.
So they're setting him up to become the big guy of the NFL.
He's marketable, good looking kid, well spoken,
Young.
smart.
Yep.
You know what I don't understand? Why do, and Anton and I were talking about this the other day, why do these dudes get married like right off the rip? Like, what's with all these kids having wives? I think that's just, no offense.
That
We
gold
both
digger.
fucking love women.
Right.
It has nothing to do with men and women.
No.
Why are these athletes, even women, female athletes, they fucking get married? Like, why are these athletes making the money they make? Ooh, that just reminded me about something. We'll close with that. Why are these athletes making the money they make? And then just like Pat Mahomes, I was watching, they were like showing up, he was showing everyone like a little mini cribs of his home. And like Pat's only 23. His woman's probably only around 23, and he's married and shit. They're like tee-hee and haha, and I'm all for it. Get married, fall in love, do whatever you want to do. That's what life's all about, right? But like me personally, I'm telling you right now, dude, we'd be doing, if I was that rich, or if I was an athlete, we'd be doing the same exact thing we're doing right now.
Right.
Probably in the same home, bro. Why get married so young? I don't get it.
See, it's the money.
They all get married wicked young. Why do you have wives?
It's the money. The money.
Every one of them.
Because the question is, when there's a lot of money involved, is it actually love? Like, is there love shared?
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Baker Mayfield's been married since college. Why are you getting married?
Right. Well, that was before he had money, so, you know.
True, but, like, I'm just like, man.
Like I say, you know, everybody gets married on their own time, dude. You can meet someone tomorrow and want to marry them, dude. You never know.
Although I did date one girl where if I would have still been with her today, who knows what would have happened. I probably had kids and shit.
Little Evans.
Fucking, yeah. I would turn with a combat killing machines. No, I'm happy it didn't happen. That would have been legit. It's the best thing ever happened to me and she dumped me.
I'd be sitting here with little Evan on my lap.
Nah, dude.
She dumped you.
Fucking like you more than me.
Probably. I mean, probably. Look at me. I'm a likable guy.
But what's your take on it? Like, do you think that's wild that they get married so early? Every single one of these dudes, they got 5 kids at like fucking 20. I'm like, yo,
I just don't think they don't get married for the right reason. I think they just get married
just to do it.
Just to do it because they have money.
Images, make you look cool and stuff like that.
As far as like, see, the way I look at it is you don't marry anybody you don't love. I did. I was dumb, dude. I went in the Marine Corps. I got married pretty early at 18, dude. It was the dumbest mistake I've ever made, brother, getting married early. I'd get married again for sure, but
dude, that would be fun.
A wedding?
If you got married, so. Dude, that'd be off the chain, dude. You have off the chain that wedding with me, dude.
Imagine that.
That should be hilarious. There you go. My sister's right downstairs, dude.
Well,
tell her.
I'll ask her on the way down.
Ask her on the way down, dude. But yeah, what I want to close with is something that we were talking about at work, actually.
All right, cool.
Here's another thing that's a sports take that people don't like when I voice my honest opinion about it. The pay gap between men and women. And how, like, for example, the NBA players, the women are, like, freaking out. And they're like, you need to pay us what the men make and all this stuff. And it's like, again, people don't understand. Now, to play devil's advocate of what I'm about to say, people that want to push that don't understand that it's not just sports, it's a business. And the reason why the women aren't making money is because no one's buying the apparel, no one's showing up, no one's buying the tickets, not a lot of people watch them play. Women's soccer, different. Fuck ton of people watch them play. More than, like, even Nate and Andy J at work, they almost talk like chauvinistic. They're like, no one watches that. No, well, you don't watch soccer. You don't know that a lot of people watch that. Now, yes, not compared to the men's soccer. What the people that are serious about support of women getting paid in the athletic realm as much, they would say that it's the constructual fault of the patriarchy, and it's like that because men don't want them to get paid, and men made a platform to make it. And now, here's the thing, though. In some ways, in multiple societies, including our own, women and minorities have people that aren't quote unquote white have been held back and oppressed.
Oh, for sure.
But I feel like if people really wanted, it sounds terrible, but I feel like if people really, really wanted to watch them play, they'd be watching them play.
Here's the thing.
And you'd be making that money.
This is what I feel. Put the best WNBA team against the best NBA team.
I said that.
And see who comes out the winner.
Just play.
And let me tell you something. If the men come out winners, which probably men play a little harder than women. They're bigger, they're stronger, and they're faster. You get paid for your ability.
Yes.
If you're not playing at the same level as the male performers, you shouldn't get paid at the same level as the male performers. And that's that. I'm not saying that.
I agree.
I equal pay for everybody.
In every other job. Like, I'm okay with a woman cop and a male cop getting paid the same. It's different in sports, though.
In a business, look at it.
In a business,
if a man and a woman work in the same business, doing the same job, yes, you get paid the same.
Now,
but some businesses are different. You have to pay according to the work being done.
Exactly.
According to the work.
And here's another thing. Like I said, for me, people are lazy, right? When we have these conversations, everyone likes to jump to everything being. They like to. What's the word? Why are we forgetting words? I'm forgetting words. They like to group just because one example is the way it is. They like to say that it's all
right like
that. I forget the fucking word. It begins with an R, I think. Why am I having a brain fart? Schoolwork all day?
Probably.
Normally
late night,
that would roll off my fucking tum. My tum.
Hey,
people like to generalize. There's a G.
Yeah.
People like to generalize with like all this like stuff like that. For example, say there's one white dude that has a business, and he just so happens to do white dudes more than everyone else, right? That does happen.
Sure, it does.
But that's not every business.
No. And when that does happen, it's definitely wrong.
It is wrong.
I mean,
but it's not every business.
No, not at all.
It's a percentage, and it's not a super high percentage.
No.
For everyone to really think that every single person that has a business, like you got to make money. But for example, anecdotal evidence. I know guys and I know girls that really hate the opposite sex because they've had a couple things here or there where the opposite sex did some shitty shit to them, right? But those are just a handful of people doing shitty shit to you. That doesn't mean that all men are bad because a man did something to you. That doesn't mean all women are bad to you because a woman did something to you.
But we get characterized and generalized. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Happens every time.
People are fucking lazy, and they don't like to take the time to look at things by case situation. Now, I'm not discounting the fact that we've had shit that we've had to fix big time in our country. And yes, there's still racists around. Although I will argue that the people that are truly 100% actually racist, there's not that many of them.
No.
Contrary to popular belief, they got everyone thinking there's scared. The media's got everyone scared there's a race war and all that shit.
You want to know how racism dies? You stop teaching it.
Exactly.
You stop teaching it.
You stop teaching it.
They'll never stop teaching it in school. You're not going to stop teaching the slave trade. For one, whites didn't. We didn't catch them, but we got to stop.
Wow, that's crazy that you say that, because I've always said, and look, my mom's dad was Puerto Rican. My mom comes from Hispanic background. And does she care? Does she like Latin shit and care and all that stuff? Yeah. But she doesn't let, quote unquote, her heritage or where she's from overrule who she is as an individual. In my opinion, culture's beautiful and all those things, but culture's kind of man-made. It's not that important.
No.
Your color of your skin doesn't define who you are as a human being. And we need to stop blaming people. We need to stop blaming the future kids for things that other people decided to do in other generations. Like, do I really believe there are racist people? Yes. Do I believe that people look at other people for their color certain ways? Yes, there are people that do it.
Absolutely.
Right? But where was I going to go with that? I just lost my train of thought, dude. We're fucking lagging today.
I don't know. My best friend, Andre, dude. My best friend. Everybody knows Andre.
Yeah, Dre. Dude, he's fucking funny.
So, right. So,
dude, you ever go to a softball game?
Yeah.
Dude, he's fucking funny at softball games, dude. He starts clapping. He's not even in the game. He's like,
I love him.
Dude, he's hilarious.
I love him to death. And he's a great dude, and he doesn't, he says this,
he's a Patriots fan.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's against the grain.
Oh, I tell him every week it's rigged.
I'm like, I want to go up to him and be like, yo, do you think black people hate you because you're a Patriots fan? Because you're such a diehard Tom Brady fan?
1 year sober, shout out to him, dude. He got 1 year sober from drinking.
Shout out to that, dude. I seen the coin. I seen that photo, and I was like getting the feels inside. And I don't know him as good as you, obviously. But I could tell by the way he talks about it when I talk to him in person and the way he posts about it and stuff. Like,
different man.
Yeah.
Different man. I bought him Patriot Super Bowl rings, dude,
there you go.
for his 1 year. Nice, dude. Heavy. Beautiful.
That's what's up. Dude, he's fucking funny.
He is funny. I love him.
Oh, I remember my train of thought. We need to, like you said, we need to stop teaching it because it's the past. It happened. It's terrible, but we need to move on and start leading everyone and influencing everyone. The only thing you could do in your life, I tell people all the time, like my buddy Adam worries about everything. I go, you need to stop worrying about shit that you can't control. You need to worry about what you can control. And the only thing that you can control in this life is when you wake up every day to try to treat people as good as you possibly can.
That's right.
Influence people to treat people good. And terrible things have happened. Yeah, I have Hispanic heritage, but we're both Caucasian. Even though I have Hispanic heritage in me, I'm Caucasian. I'm white, right? I mean, I skin.
Right, I have Native American.
Right.
All of us do.
But really, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, even though bad things happen, I wasn't alive for those bad things.
Right.
I wasn't there. I didn't swing hands at people because of their fucking skin color and all these other things. And there's a lot of people, it doesn't matter if you're black, Doesn't matter if you're brown. Doesn't matter if you're white or anything in between or any culture. The children of the future are not to blame for things that people in the past did. And and the only way that we really totally start to quell racism on all different levels is if we start fucking teaching kids. Like, I'm not going to feel bad because I was popped out this way.
Right, exactly.
And it doesn't matter where you come from. We had nothing growing up. We had bullshit going on growing up. But we judge people on their character. And anyone that's a minority out there that ever listens to this, you can change things for yourself. It doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter what you look like. You choose to treat people like crap. It's not innate. You choose and you learn how to treat people like shit. And it bums me out. It's one of the only things, I don't get worked up over it, but it bums me out that the media pushes all this bullshit and they're only showing certain people getting killed by the cops and shit, trying to keep people divided. It's no different than how businesses run. You run things in groups, make the most money, keep shit divided.
It's easier to control people that are divided than together. So,
if people fight in the parking lots over football games, you could fight about almost anything, right?
That's because men have that testosterone.
No, don't tell people
that.
Bro. Don't tell people that.
But it's true.
Lefties will come after you.
They ain't no lefties coming after me. Let me tell you something. They tell me I'm a white male, okay? I'm not a racist white male. I love everyone.
Word.
All right? I've never done anything bad to anybody of any different color, okay? But you can't... But we're still categorized as a white male.
Yeah, we're still categorized as white.
As a racist white male... who are the most
worst
terrorists in America.
Our opinions shouldn't matter.
No.
That's a new term, white terror.
Yeah, white
terror. They made a big deal out of the Joker game.
Or you can't do the OK sign anymore. That's white power.
I never even use the OK sign anyway.
So the fuck or a bowl cut. You can't get a bowl cut anymore.
A bowl cut? What's that about?
That's the white power haircut now, dude. Yeah, see, shit's getting ridiculous.
It is getting ridiculous.
And what they're doing is... they're just trying to keep us apart when we should be together.
And you know what's hilarious?
All humans, dude.
You know what's hilarious? And I'm trying to become a psychologist. Make no mistake about it. People need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid, stop paying attention to all the shit that's on social media, stop caring about all the political bullshit. They're going to do whatever they want to you, regardless. They're going to pass all the bills no matter what way they want, regardless. The only thing you could do if you really want to make change is two things. Influence people to figure out how to make their life good and okay and flow well within the normal confines of what we call American society, or B, start a revolution. You have two options.
B is pretty much not a choice.
And, but you know what I'm saying? What? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just being honest.
You want to change people? Dude, you love them.
Stop hating people.
Right. Because let me tell you what. If you're having the worst day in the world and everybody's mean to you, but I love you and I give you love, dude, you're going to go home and you're not going to have that suicidal thought anymore.
And it's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like, and I finally get conceptualized it right with words. The children of the future shouldn't be at fault or at blame for the people, the things that people did in the past. They have nothing to do with it.
Right. I agree with you.
But yet we're going to keep telling, certain people are going to keep telling minorities they're nothing. And then certain people are going to keep telling white people that they're, the future white kids, that if your skin color's white, you're evil from the get-go and you're an asshole and a terrorist and all these other things. I just think people need to fucking pump the brakes. Just relax.
Absolutely.
And just treat each other better.
Love.
But there's got to be someone that's going to listen to this and be like, these fucking white fucking assholes, these fucking
always
these fucking privileged cocksuckers.
Well, then we'll have them come on the show and we'll talk to them. That's how you do. That's how you do with people like that, man. You sit them down and you talk with them. And
there's only one message, I guess, besides the NFL being rigged. It's love thy neighbor. Is that what the good book says? Love thy neighbor.
It's hard, dude. To love everyone as you love yourself. And humans are selfish, bro. We're selfish beings, so it's hard to love other people like you love yourself.
That's true.
So when we start doing that, dude, all nature will change, bro.
Bang, bang. Except for when the aliens come down and you just fuck. Hey, what would you do? The Illuminati comes and just flips your script.
They're in the good book, too. Aliens.
I don't know, man. Edward Snowden said that. Edward Snowden was saying that, like, he believes that there's aliens, but he doesn't think we've had contact with them. He goes, if there's aliens in the government, you'd know. He was saying, like, he knows for a fact that the government's not hiding aliens from us, because he's like, I've had the highest level of fucking surveillance clearance, and I could snoop into anything. Man, because he believes there's probably life out there, but he doesn't think the government's housing it.
Have you ever seen that one guy who used to work? He didn't call it Area 51. He called it.
Oh, you talk about that Lazar
Bill
guy?
Lazar.
Bill Lazar.
Yeah,
I think Rogan's had him on, but I think Rogan thinks he's a kook, though.
No, but the things that he said way back in the 80s and whatever, 70s, whatever, ended up happening, coming...
Alex Jones.
Like the element he found that he said was an element that they had. I can't remember
like
the
some
element
super powerful element
that ran the alien spaceship.
like the fifth element
That ran the spaceship. Yeah, it was an element. It was some element, right, that we didn't have yet. And he came out back then and said something about it.
The sixth element, because technically plasma is the fifth element.
Well, the periodic table. It was a periodic table element. And like 20 years later, the government came out and said that was a real element, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then, like, the biometric hand scanners that the military uses, that they recently just showed, he was talking about that stuff in the 80s. Back in the day. Dude, yeah.
Dude, they had, some people say that they had drones back in World War II.
Maybe. Possible. Underwater drones, maybe. I don't know about flying.
Underwater seems a little more... Maybe on top of water probably seems a little more... Well, they had submarines and shit. Yeah. But, like... I could see them having like a drone that you could only control like going forward maybe and go like this. I highly doubt they had a drone that you could round back and come back and all that stuff. They probably had one with that just for some quick like maybe like shoot something.
We didn't really have like
once we captured all Wi-Fi. The Operation Paperclip. Once we captured all the German
Operation Paperclip, NASA, dude.
Yeah, NASA, bro. Once we did that, World War II shit.
What's his name there? Warren von Braun.
Yeah, dude.
Let me tell you about Warren von Braun, who started NASA, dude. Not once did he have a successful rocket launch.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Not once did he have. And we took him and we made him the head of our NASA. Think about it, bro.
Think about it, dude. You know what's funny? You said think about it. I'm gonna probably if we end up getting like say if we get around like 50 episodes and I can get a following, I'm gonna have to check in to see if my podcast doesn't have my name. I looked it up. I tried to look it up. Someone has a Keepin' It Real podcast, but mine's Keepin' It G Real. And Joe and we're gonna look into it because if the podcast starts to grow a little bit, I got to get the name.
You gonna trademark it?
I got to trademark it.
Tight.
But I've thought about it. Sucks because it's such a flip, but. Well, I'm going to close with this hilarious story because you might know it. I'm thinking about changing it to just think about it. And
I know that story,
like, dude. Put it all together. Well, people, I don't know if we've told the story on the podcast.
Think about it, dude.
Think about it, dude. Well, I'm not going to say this person's name because he already got in trouble for it, but this kid made some Snapchat posts that we knew from high school where he was working out at the gym and he gets out and he's in his truck. Sad part is he's listening to Pantera, which just ruins it because I love Pantera.
Dude,
but
he probably doesn't even like them. They're on the radio.
He comes out of the thing. He goes, I just got done working out at the Fulton Gym or the Fulton Y or something like that. And he goes, dude, it's fucking funny. It's terrible, but it's funny. He goes, he literally says, there's all these fags in here working out with short shorts. Now I got to go to new gym, motherfucker. And then the second snap.
Even Jesus said that ain't right.
Yeah, the second snap, he goes, and all you people getting fucking butt hurt on my Snapchat. He goes, it's a dude. He goes, it's a dude fucking another dude. He goes like this to the camera. Shit ain't right.
Shit ain't right.
And then on the third one, he goes, oh yeah, well, the part where he says, think about it, dude. It's a dude, fucking dude. So we think that think about it is so funny because he's clearly dumb as fuck.
Yeah, dude, he is a dumb.
That kid we're talking about probably has the IQ of like a 60. Like for him to be talking like that, he's fucking stupid.
And the worst part is I grew up with a kid.
Well, and he goes, think about it, dude. Like he's saying something wicked smart. Dude,
right.
and I watched it 1,000 times because he's so stupid.
FBI went to his house.
Yeah, FBI went to this kid's house. So he goes, the third one, he goes, he goes, what is it? He goes, wasn't it Hitler or whatever? He's like, they killed all the Jews. He goes, my name's Bip Bip. He goes, I'm going to fuck around a ball of fags and kill them. Then the third one, or the fourth one. Jim. Yeah, the last one, he goes, it wasn't Jesus. He goes, or whatever.
Yeah,
he goes,
whatever.
That said, that shit. He goes, that shit ain't right. He says, that shit ain't right. That was it. But so if I change it, it's going to be think about it or think about a dude or something like that. And that'll be something we just say on it all the time. Think about a dude or something like that. Think about a dude. Because Nate says it all the time now. Nate will be like trying to tell you something. Be like, think about a dude like that. Dude, it's hilarious.
The one only.
But is there anything that you want to say? Anything you want to talk about before we end this? Any message you want to get out to the Keepin' It G Real podcast?
Keepin' It G Real.
The Keepin' It G Real podcast. Because we keep it G Real around here.
I hope to be back one day.
Oh, you'll be back.
This was a good time. I appreciate
it's fun,
being
right?
here, dude. Yeah, it is fun.
It's pretty fun. I want to give a shout out. First off, I want to say thank you for coming on because I've been wanting to get you on and have a conversation. This is one of the most fun podcasts I've done so far. This is episode 28.
28.
I didn't expect it. The average podcast, they say, goes 9 to 13 episodes. We're almost to 30. I still don't have a lot of traction. I got like 100 followers on Facebook. I got 60 followers on YouTube. That's where we do it, YouTube. I've been trying to share it. When Spencer gets home for vacation, I think we're going to buckle down and try to figure out how to really get it out to people.
Right.
And I decided that if I'm still doing this podcast, by the time I go off to grad school, I've decided when I go to grad school, I'm going to live on campus. So which means all I'm going to be doing is schoolwork and playing like PlayStation shit all have time.
Right.
Whatever college I go to for grad school, I'm going to run around. I'm going to make flyers, and I'm going to run around and staple them all over the campus on bulletin boards and stuff, and try to do interviews to find someone who's really tech savvy, knows how to do research, knows how to, edit and make videos so we could do videos and all these other things. Someone that could be my tech guy. That's what Spencer's supposed to be, but he moved for school. And someone who wants to be a co-host, because if I go to grad school, I'm going to be at that school for 4 years.
Right.
And I'm just going to be on the flyer like, look, looking for people to audition. For someone that wants to be a co-host of my podcast, has to be good with all the computer stuff. You got to be a computer nerd so you could do all that so I don't got to do it.
Right.
And I'm going to be like, it's not super, maybe it'll be popular by then. I don't know.
So,
but if it's not, I'll be like, I'm not making any money off this yet. It's just a project for fun. If you want to be a part of something fun, let me know. I'll only take a couple hours out of your week or whatever. And then if it was making money, I would give them money.
Right.
I would split it up with them. And that's what I plan on doing in the future. And even if I don't go off to grad school, I'm going to find someone, I don't know, Indeed or something. I don't fucking know. Find someone to come in and be my co-host who's has the time, who's dedicated to trying to build a podcast and knows how to do all the computer stuff.
That's legit.
So I just, again, thanks for coming on. It was a blast.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'm going to give a shout out to my sponsors for the podcast. We're sponsored by the Wolfpack, Ultimate Athletics, best fight team in New York. You can holla at your boy. Come on down, talk to Mark Gervais. He'll hook you up if you want to learn how to box, kickbox, wrestle, jiu-jitsu. We have it all, strength conditioning. We have kids programs, all that stuff. UA Wolfpack. You can find us on Ultimate Athletic, I think Syracuse, or Ultimate Athletic Wolfpack on Facebook. We're also sponsored by Bronze Images, best tannin in Fulton, New York, best tannin in the Syracuse area. Go down there, talk to Suzanne, she'll hook you up. We're also going to be sponsored very soon by Griff's Fins, soon to be the most premier, highest level fish hatchery. My boy Griff's starting his own business. He's going to be breeding fish and selling them, doing aquarium shit and stuff like that. And then hopefully someday I'll be getting a sponsor that actually, pays me a little bit of cash. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be dope.
And you can find me at The Big Piece in Keep It a G Real podcast at The Big Piece on YouTube. The Big Piece or Keep It G Real podcast on Facebook. My Twitch for PlayStation. I'm going to be streaming more this winter. You can find me there on The Big Piece. And this was the Keep It a G Real podcast. Thanks for coming on, Steve.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Did you have fun?
Absolutely, dude.
It was
I loved
a blast,
it.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're out. Later, folks.
Bye.